Yes, what? I didn't do it.
I am feeling good today.
Yeah?
It's very weird.
Pass the pills,
Nope.
man,
I got for some reason this week, like, okay, we come out of October. October we had like the Asylum. We had like
there was a lot going
some
on in
messed
October.
up Spider-Man videos I had to re-record. There was a lot of like schedule back and forth. But like this week has just been like plain vanilla, and that's what I needed. I needed some plain vanilla.
Wow! Congrats on being boring, Jeff.
I know, it's great. Anyway, welcome back to the RageSelect podcast. Woo, I'm boring, Jeff.
I am, I guess, Vanilla Amanda.
Yeah. Do you want to pick one of the other Neapolitan flavors? We can have like 2/3 of a Neapolitan.
So my choice is either strawberry or chocolate.
I guess.
No. I'll be a sprinkle.
Okay. What's your favorite ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
I actually knew that.
You did know that.
I knew that.
Hell yeah, because I always get criticized for liking the toothpaste flavored ice cream.
You brush your teeth with it?
Yeah. Do I look like the type of person who wouldn't brush their teeth with ice cream? Because
can you make ice cream that you can brush your teeth with? That seems like it'd be really. I mean, got the sensitive
you could brush
teeth.
your teeth with anything if you're not a pussy, Jeff.
You try hard enough. You just gotta have the backbone.
God, anything is possible, Jeff.
You could use like ants or like
oh my God.
sawdust or like gravy, anything.
Those tiny fish that eat the dead skin off your feet.
Yeah,
but you put them in your mouth instead.
Just put them in your mouth.
Just put them in your mouth. Hope for the best.
That's the new motto of RageSelect. Just put it in your mouth. Just put it in your mouth. I mean, who knows? What could go wrong?
I've been fooled by that motto before. I'm not falling for it again.
What could go wrong? One of the reasons I'm really excited this week is because I watched something and it was like, oh my God, this is new and it's great. And I liked it. So
what'd you watch?
I gotta say, I think that over the last like 2 months, Netflix keeps putting really good stuff on their service. Like I've been kind of blurg about Netflix for like a year now, but like there's The Usher and by the time this is out, that new David Fincher movie with what's his face, the guy from Alien Covenant, the really pretty guy. He was in the not Dallas Buyers Club. Fassbender, called The Killer, and it's about Fassbender as like an assassin who gets burned and then he has to go kill his employers, but David Fincher's directing it, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Nice.
But no, I watched Blue Eye Samurai last week on Netflix.
God, that was coming out. I don't have Netflix, so I don't keep up as much.
Yep.
But that looked really good.
It was really good. The animation was really good. It was 3D, but it was like, it reminded me a little bit of Klaus in the way that it was like 3D, but it had a very good like style to it.
Yeah.
It's basically a samurai revenge story, except like kind of the twist of it is that the main character is mixed race in 17th century Japan, and so is considered basically a monster because that is what would happen.
Yeah.
So the fact that the character has blue eyes means that like if anybody sees them, they're just like, you're a fucking demon. Like
that's what I say whenever I see anybody with blue eyes too, though. So
no, but that's what my eyes are.
Yeah, demon.
No, but it was really good. It was the first episode was an hour long, and then the rest of them were 45 mintakes, and there were 8 episodes in total.
Oh,
and
nice. That's
obviously
not too bad.
Set up for more. It had a lot of really good actors in it. It had George Takei was in there.
I remember the cast.
Kenneth Branagh was kind of the bad guy, which was interesting.
He's always the bad guy.
The guy that played Hero on Heroes, I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
he was kind of a comic relief character. And then Carrie
Masi Oka.
Carrie, what's his name, who played Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat.
Oh my God. Dude, this is a great cast. Randall Park's in it.
Yep. It was a really, really good cast. Very well.
Brenda Song's in it.
Good casting, great animation, snappy story. The other thing I liked a lot about it was that unlike I watch a lot of anime and stuff like that. You gotta stick with me with it, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Die Hard or maybe like the Takeshi Miike samurai movies, where it was like the main character gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And like that, when you're facing down.
So the first Die Hard, not the other ones where he's like flipping helicopters with shit.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of consequences. Like if you get stabbed, you're going to need to like spend some time coming back from that.
Yeah.
It's not just like, okay,
Nice.
shake it off and go.
Wow, it's just I know, you were saying you watch a lot of anime and that, they kind of take hits and keep going, but that's like most animations, like not just anime.
Yeah.
Like even Western stuff, you can see He-Man get hit and not get back up,
Right. It also had a lot of violence, a lot of like.
We know you love the blood, guts, and gore, Jeff.
There were a lot of guts. When you cut somebody in the stomach with a sword, stuff comes out. And there was also a lot of nudity.
Oh.
And then there was also a lot of like. There was some weird comic relief where it was kind of interesting, where this like very kind of serious story, and then they've got a character who's kind of like their comic relief character, but it's a Masaoka character. Lots of interesting stuff. I think it was just very pretty, like incredibly beautiful. It's made by Canadian husband and wife team, and as near as I could tell, it was done by kind of like some of the internal Netflix stuff. There was a really interesting episode about halfway through where like the events were kind of paralleled to one of those Japanese puppet shows where you have the guys in like black that are moving the puppets around in really intricate ways. Yeah, but it was animated. So it was like animated, people animating these puppets, but they did a really good job of making it seem like that style. So yeah, it was really good. It maybe starts just like slightly slow, just like a little slow, but not even that bad. It's definitely not shonen. It's not action packed, but it's a little bit more. It was a little bit more interesting than that. There was a lot of kind of.
Oh my God! There's definitely a lot of blood. This is just a trailer, and there's a lot of blood.
There's a lot of stuff there's some gender stuff. There's some stuff about like the Masaoka's character Ringo doesn't have hands. So some kind of stuff about like how people were treated in Japan, how women were treated, how men were treated, all kind of stuff. But it was good. The only thing that I have to say is that it was very obviously part one of like a season one of multiple seasons, and Netflix is so fucking bad about canceling shit.
Yeah, but also even if you are going to get it, there's a good chance you're going to be waiting like 6 years before the next, and it's like
also true. But it was good. It was worth a watch. It was fun. Nice. And like this week we've got that Fassbender movie that's coming out. Next week is the Scott Pilgrim thing. I think there's enough on Netflix right now that like I'm not trying to convince you, but I'm just using you as an example that like if you were the people who go on and off of Netflix, I feel like there's a lot on Netflix right now to recommend it. I even also watched there's an anime called Pluto.
And it's about this little dog and his mouse owner.
It's interesting because it's actually based on Astro Boy. But it's very serious.
Yeah, it looks serious. That don't look like Astro Boy to me.
So it's like it's in a future where there's a lot of like robots and AI. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it kind of
super fighting robot
starts with this kind of detective, but then this character Adam that you see we're watching the trailer is basically your Astro Boy, but it's a much more serious take on that original concept.
Interesting.
And it was interesting too, but it was also a little slow, and so I watched a couple episodes. But yeah, a lot going on Netflix right now,
which is surprising because they were one of the big holdouts for SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah,
and so you would think they wouldn't have a lot to.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that I'm watching, obviously, anime stuff was done a long time ago or took a long time. And so, or I don't even know.
I think they were really good at like stretching out what they had and were like just waiting to release.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it. How about you, Amanda? You watch anything? Play anything? Listen to anything? Read anything?
No, because I haven't finished, but I played a little bit of Super Mario Wonder. I don't know if we've talked about it on here at all.
I don't think so. I mean, we talked about it when we played it, I think, but
yeah.
But I played with Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, you didn't have me on that episode.
I'm sorry.
No, I've been playing that on and off. It's a good casual game because you can I can not play it for a couple of days and then pick it back up, and I don't feel like I'm like,
wait, what part of the story am I at?
You know what I mean? Because I can't do that with like Alan Wake.
Right.
Which you and I are doing for like Patreon. But John's been playing it, so a lot of my video game time has just been to be in a different room and casually play my stupid game where the piranha plants sing a fun little song.
Yep.
And then just hear John being like, "Oh shit," and I'm like, "I can't la la la, I can't know, I don't know."
I appreciate that you are taking steps to not.
I am. It's funny. I was sewing something just to like do something different. I was just sort of bored with my afternoon, and John was playing Alan Wake 2, and I was sewing and facing away from the screen, so I can hear it, but I'm not focused in on it.
Sure.
And my sewing machine's loud, so it's like fine. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing more and more stuff, and I catch myself like turning around and like looking and like go back to what I'm doing, and I'm like at a stopping point, and then I'm like watching, and I'm like, no, I gotta go to a different room. I can't. It's too much. All I want to do is know what's going on and why it's happening.
See, that's why you got to go to patreon.com/RageSelect. Look at what Amanda is giving.
Look at this dedication.
Look at what's going on here. Amanda is sacrificing just so that we can play Alan Wake, which I really want to play more of. This is what happened when we were playing Control. God damn it!
I know.
Son of a bitch.
That's a good sign, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, what about Mario Wonder?
I think it's fun. I think it's super cute.
Yeah.
I think it's great for me. Like I said, real casual. Like
Are you 100%ing all the levels?
I was, and then I stopped because I was just. There were too many times where I'd just be real mad, and I'm like, nah, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't get mad at it. It's not fun. Honestly, this is a nice little filler because all I really want to play is Pikmin 4, but I 100%ed it.
Yeah.
So there's no more Pikmin to play.
Oh.
So now it's just like everything else is just like,
Why don't
okay.
you can go back and play the HD, right? The Pikmin 1, Pikmin 2, Pikmin 3.
I can, but it's not the same. You don't have a cute little dog.
Oh.
Yeah, my favorite. I think the purple isn't in all of them, and you know, you can't go back in time. You can only go forward.
It's hard. It's a hard life.
It is.
Yeah, you guys play the new Yakuza game. Should be out by now. So
I mean,
I'm gonna play the new
Switch.
Yakuza
That's
game.
gonna be weird.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a Switch game. Well, I tell you what. I don't think we have. I think a couple of these are on the Switch. I can't remember. Anyway, last week, BlizzCon happened, and it was the first one since I think since they shut down in 2020. It was the first in-person one. So, we're gonna kind of zip through it. Like, I don't have a lot to say.
Because who gives a fuck?
Well, there's here's the reason that I wanted to look at it is because I don't really even play Blizzard games anymore. Like, I'm out of favor with Overwatch. I tried Diablo. I was like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like World of Warcraft, that's too much of a time investment. But I like the art style, and I like to see what they're doing. So there's some interesting stuff to talk about. We're not going to go through this in chronological order because I got a Verge article, and fuck it, we'll just go from the bottom up. They do that thing where they do it like chronologically, and then they put the new ones on top of the old ones. Yeah. So you got to start at the bottom. Phil Spencer came out and said huzzah because they just got done acquiring Activision Blizzard. So he came out to basically talk about no one's better than Phil Spencer at name dropping things where he's just like, hey everybody, if I can super psyched to be here. I've been a big fan of Blizzard games for a long time. I like Warcraft. And he's like, woo! He's like, I like StarCraft. We're like, woo! And it's like he's just saying the names of video games, and, you guys.
In professional wrestling, that's called a cheap pop.
Oh.
Which is when
a cheat pop? Cheap pop.
Cheap pop.
Cheap pop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, anytime a wrestler would go out and be like, oh, man, it's so great to be here in
Detroit.
The city you guys are living. And everyone goes, yay!
Hello, Dallas.
My favorite football team, the one you guys root for.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's because it's just cheap.
That's true. Because it's kind of, well, I don't know if it's sad or not, but because the acquisition just went through, like there's nothing to announce. I think you and I talked about I think last time you were on, we might have talked about how like they just got done, and then Modern Warfare is coming out, and Diablo's on there, but like nothing's coming on Game Pass until like next year. So there wasn't anything big to announce. It's mostly just Phil Spencer gets to come out and be like, he's been doing this. He did this at the
me. I'm here.
He did this at the last Square Enix event. He came out to just be like, "Oh yeah, we're Microsoft. We love our Square Enix."
He comes out and then he does like a pose, and then he leaves.
He just dabs and then he just leaves. Some planking, some dabbing, and then he leaves.
God damn that. Like, boo!
Boo to you, Phil Spencer. From there, we got the new Overwatch hero was announced and then made immediately available. This is Mauga? M-A-U-G-A. A new tank.
Nice.
He's got 2 big chain guns. He is Maui from Moana, but
he does. Yeah,
but the thing is that I thought that, and then I realized that like, no, Jeff, what's happening is that Maui is similar to this Hawaiian archetype that you don't know, and this guy is just also in that same archetype of this kind of big, kind of muscular but also kind of fat thing where they got the big belly, but they also got big arms and stuff. So.
That's a super like common way to portray like a
Pacific
Hawaiian
Islanders.
Maori.
But he's real fun in this.
He straight up did a peck pop thing.
He's got 2 gigantic chain guns, one of which procs burn and the other does critical damage to people that have burn on them. He's got one ability that heals him for every shot that is landed, and then it looks like his ult is basically like it creates an arena and then chains everybody that's inside of it into the arena so they can't physically leave it.
Oh my god.
Like
I don't want to be here.
Like you're trapped in here with me. I always like it though when they make these things because like this looks really good, but this is not how it would go.
No.
If you trapped 5 people in that arena, they would all immediately bum rush the person in the middle and probably kill them. But one thing I did find out, apparently each one of his guns is taller than Tracer.
Really?
So
that's like weird.
They're very large guns.
Yeah, he is a big guy.
He's a big guy.
Great hair.
Yep. He's also they had an origin story for him where he's part of the was it not Blackwatch? Who's the Cody?
Oh my god,
Widowmaker.
It's been too long, Jeff. I don't know
those guys. Like,
he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he was like a little freedom fighter, and then he got wounded, and then they gave him all the cyber stuff, and then he hooked up with these guys, the Widowmaker,
like
Reaper, Sombra, all those. I do kind of think it's interesting the way he carries his chain guns with his arms like normally you would expect him to be carrying them with his like fingers down towards the gun, but he carries them like he's curling them or something.
Yeah.
But he seems like a fun character. That's what I'm talking about with Blizzard, where it's like, seems like an interesting character.
Hey, I mean, Overwatch had great characters. It's just they really fucked it up with that second one.
Very true. They also talked about some new characters that are coming. There's going to be a new damage hero and a new support hero. The damage hero is like, I
can't see what they're holding. Like my eyes don't work.
It's like a big drill. It's a big drill gun.
Okay.
But they're
what it kind of looks like just from here and my bad eyes?
Yeah.
It looks like a graboid.
Oh, I can see that. This character is basically a squid from Splatoon. Like they go under the ground and then come up. So they kind of do the Splatoon thing. They're touted. They're like, it's our first non-binary character, and it's like, okay, guys, fucking great. Whatever. Like, I mean, it's good to have representation. Also, though, sometimes I feel like it's a little cynical on Blizzard's part, but that's just me. I don't know. Anyway, this looks like an interesting damage character because they can literally, when they're underground, they're invincible. They can pick up like health when they're underground, and they've got some interesting stuff.
That's cool.
And then they got some kind of like just generalized, like the next character after that is supposed to be this support hero. There's some kind of space character, like the first person from the Mars.
Aren't they all like space characters?
No, I mean they're like specifically from the Mars colony, so they're the first like Martian character. I don't know.
I miss the non-human characters,
like Bastion.
Bastion and Winston and
oh yeah,
with that hamster ball.
Oh, Wrecking Ball.
The robot.
Yep, Bastion.
No, the humanoid robot guy.
The one with the cowboy hat?
No.
Okay. Wait, which one? What is it?
I don't remember their
Amanda
names.
and Jeff trying to remember Overwatch characters.
No, I don't remember his name, but yeah, he had all the like flying balls around him, and he would.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Fuck. Who's the guy with the balls? I don't care. Tell me in the comments. We'll remember by that time. Tell me who's got the balls. You tell me in the comments. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The healer.
Yeah. I don't remember his name. I just remember the balls.
This is the balls. We got a really brief teaser for the next Hearthstone expansion. Mm-hmm. It's all Western themed.
Ooh.
So
I love a mask with a mustache sewn on.
Yeah, the guy's got a mask and it's got a mustache and a goatee.
Yeah.
Or a soul patch on it. This is like a little motion comic, and they always do these. It's got a little song.
They're always great too. Yep. How's a frog?
But I don't want to play Hearthstone.
I know. I want to watch a Hearthstone cartoon.
I kind of want to watch just a Blizzard cartoon of anything. Yeah. Like, I'd rather watch a cartoon of any of the things here instead of playing their games, because they just don't appeal to me. It's kind of like Ubisoft games where I'm like, they all require too much investment, and they're usually so PvP focused now that like I miss the days of single player. Like even Diablo 4 is ostensibly more focused on this kind of online framework as opposed to just being a single player game. So. Yeah. But yeah, Showdown in the Badlands is the name of that. It is coming, or it is out, or November 14th. So Shadow in the Badlands. Yep. Diablo 4 got a teaser for its first expansion called Vessel of Hatred. It's a lot of cryptic voiceovers.
Ooh, and greenery.
Jungle, yeah. It reminds me a lot of, there was a level I think it was in Diablo 2 that was kind of a jungle level that had little like witch doctor guys and pygmies and stuff.
Those look like pyramids.
Yeah.
But like,
they're those things you see in like Mayan ruins, right? With the flat tops and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, this isn't going to be coming out until the end of next year, so all right, fine.
Yeah. Why even tell me?
Well, also, you should be noted that from the perspective of just the trailers that we've watched, this one's the most boring.
Yeah.
It's just a slow zoom into a jungle and then a temple. Like, there's no people, there's no...
Not even a detailed temple, too. It's like the silhouette of a temple.
Yep, pretty much. So... Warcraft Rumble came out finally. This would have been announced a few years back. This is a phone game where you basically play... It's kind of like those phone games where you're trying to kind of move from one side to the other with kind of a tactics thing and like a real-time strategy. That's this with Warcraft characters, these little kind of toyetic looking characters. They
Very
had a
cartoony.
Cute trailer where they all run in and then they kind of run into some problems, and then they call in like a mage who helps them out, and there's like a big dragon in the background. It's all very
like... If they sold these as like toys, I would probably want these toys. You know
what'd be cool is if it was this, but it was back to the toys as games model where you would like put your Skylander, right? Or like Disney Infinity. Like if they sold these little guys. I kind of wonder why that whole thing died out. I think it was just because
I just don't think the sales were as good as they wanted.
Yeah.
Like it didn't sell as good as action figures do, and it didn't sell the game as well as regular video games do. So they were just failing on two fronts.
True. And in the past, I would have said like, oh, if anybody could make this work, it would be Blizzard. But I think that I don't know if they can do it right now. Because you know what? The one thing that was totally missing from this was Heroes of the Storm. Like, I don't even know if that game still exists anymore.
Oh, yeah.
They're MOBA. But
MOBA.
I don't know. This looks cute enough, I guess.
It looks cute. I'll never play it on my phone.
Not going to put it on my phone.
Don't touch my phone.
We got a really interesting little trailer for World of Warcraft Classic Cataclysm.
Say that 3 times fast.
So I don't know, Amanda, do you know about World of Warcraft Classic?
No.
Okay, so World of Warcraft, right?
Yeah.
World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft got, has had like 1 billion updates over the years.
Yeah.
And there are some people that are like, my nostalgia wants to play 1.0 World of Warcraft. Like there are people that were running bootleg servers that were running 1.0 Warcraft.
I think I knew about that. The real breaking it down old school.
Yeah. So Blizzard said, we're going to shut down the servers, but we're going to sell and maintain classic World of Warcraft Classic, right? For if you want to play the old version. But then this is what I don't understand, is they did that, and I'm like, I understand that.
Yeah.
Then they announced that they were putting out the first expansion for World of Warcraft Classic. It's like the first World of Warcraft expansion, but for Classic.
Yeah.
And this is like the 3rd or 4th time that they've done that. So Cataclysm is like an old expansion, but they're putting it out for World of Warcraft Classic. And I'm like, guys, isn't this just going to end at the exact thing that you went back to 1.0 to get away from? Like, and I don't know if you can, honestly don't know if you can choose to be like, I still just want to play 1.0 vanilla.
Yeah.
And they maintain separate server slices.
How many people want that?
Yeah.
That it's worth maintaining that way.
Enough.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that I can't actually imagine that it's a huge thing because you're just running an old version of World of Warcraft on a server blade, right? Like you're not maintaining it. Like it's got all the stability patches and stuff from back when it came out. So it probably is a lot. It's probably a very just like we spin it up, we sell it, we make money. We're not generating any new assets. We're not doing anything. The only thing they're doing is doing the expansions, which are already done.
Yeah.
Like they're just so
a tiny team just to.
It probably takes 4 people to keep this whole thing running.
Yeah. Just a hamster on a wheel, just keeping it going.
Yeah. If you guys know, I mean, if somebody can explain this in more detail to me, I would be interested. I really am most interested in, like, can I still play 1.0, or when they release Cataclysm, does everybody have to upgrade to Cataclysm? Because, again, it seems to me like you've now just created the same problem that's going to require. So, like, once Classic gets up to the current expansion, are they going to put out like double Classic Retro, like to go back to World 1.0 again?
Yeah, that's really complicated.
Yeah, it is.
And kind of silly.
I don't understand.
I never understand.
Let's see. They announced basically kind of MCU style the World Soul Saga for World of Warcraft, which basically outlines that there's going to be 3 more expansions: World of Warcraft: The War Within, World of Warcraft Midnight, World of Warcraft: The Last Titan.
Martin Scorsese already said he hates it.
Yes, so. It's not real. It's not real World of Warcraft. Martin Scorsese only plays Classic at his desk, not on his phone. Pays attention,
obviously.
They had the thing that I think a lot of people are here for is they had an actual cinematic for the War Within. I don't keep track of the World of Warcraft like mythos.
Yeah.
Apparently, this guy, like, I read on a wiki that this character, he like had to betray his friends, and now he's been wandering around for the last expansion trying to come back from the psychological trauma of that. What I find really interesting about this is that, okay, this entire cutscene is just this one guy, and then there's like Thrall from the Orcs comes up and talks to him, and then at the end they turn around, they show a big sword stuck in the ground. Yeah. I don't understand what the fuck they're talking about. What I do think is really interesting is that this guy is one of the most realistically rendered humans I've ever seen in my life. To the point where when this orc walks up, he looks really weird and out of place because, again, this looks like a real fucking person. Like, it looks like an actual person.
Yeah.
And this looks like a World of Warcraft guy.
Roger Rabbit shows up. Yeah.
Right. Like, he's pretty well detailed.
Oh, yeah. He looks great.
But he doesn't look like, I don't know. Also, the people in World of Warcraft, they always have like the big pauldron. They're a little goofy and oversized. Yeah. Whereas this fucking guy over here,
that's just a dude.
They just look like a dude.
That's just Joe, man.
Yeah. We just got fucking Michael Fassbender to come down and be in the latest World of Warcraft thing. So it's kind of jarring to me.
Yeah. Although I will say that orc looks better than the Incredible Hulk has looked in the last couple of movies he was in.
The orc does look good. It's just there's something.
But then he looks like next to almost real human.
Right. This guy is like coming out of the uncanny valley. He's like rocketing up the other side of the uncanny valley until like, is that just a guy? Is it just a guy?
Is this just live action? You tell me, right?
There's parts of this where it looks like live action.
Just a close up of the eyes.
Yeah.
But then like this, you can tell.
Like if you just like,
but like it looks good. And just like.
They're getting really close.
Yeah.
Like it makes me think of when we're playing Alan Wake, like how close they're
jump
able to
when
get
they go between the live action and the
but then they keep cutting back to this orc. It looks stupid. Or even his dumb sword is too big and it's got a big shiny red gem in it.
Yeah. But it is fantasy, so.
That's true. So, I don't know.
That orc looks real sad.
Yeah, they're all real sad about something. I don't know. I'm fucking keep
Dang,
up with this
man.
nerd shit.
You guys are a fucking bummer.
My favorite game. It bums me out so hard.
I cry a lot.
I love it. I love how much it bums me out.
Yeah.
And so then they turn around and they look at a giant sword.
Neat. Oh wow.
Like a giant sword. Yeah.
Like a mountain sword.
Yeah, like going into the atmosphere sized.
That was
sword.
like the sword from Thundercats.
The Sword of Omens? Mm-hmm. Giving you sight beyond sight?
Sure.
I could see it.
Is it because you have sight beyond sight?
It's because I have sight beyond sight.
Yeah, obviously.
Every time we get ready for the podcast, I get the Sword of Omens out. Put it up to my eyes. Give me little cat pupils. People don't know that I have cat pupils. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. That's a secret for just me, you, and the people listening to this podcast. So that one other person.
They also kind of just showed off. They had like a little sizzle reel that they showed off some new areas because, obviously World of Warcraft doesn't look anything like that. But World of Warcraft still looks pretty good. Their art style goes a long way to kind of keep
for
things.
Sure. It is funny, though, that they have so many of these, and it's an animated trailer. Check it out. It looks amazing. It's the coolest shit you've ever seen. The game doesn't look like that.
Not at all.
Anyway, this is an animated trailer, and it's like, practically live action. It's crazy. Anyway, the game doesn't look like that.
It doesn't look like that.
Stop! Just give me what it looks like.
It doesn't look like that. Even the World of Warcraft
catfish so fucking hard.
Even the classic thing, right? It was like these models, but they had it rendered differently with a little bit more detail to it. Like, I don't know, but I don't know. It looks pretty good. Like, I mean, if you're into World of Warcraft. Sure.
There's plenty of people who love it.
I mean, there's like just a gajillion fucking expansions and things and lore. And if you want to do that, I got to give them props for they made this game. It's very popular. They haven't stopped adding to it for like 15, 20 years at this point. So is
there like generational players at this point? Like my dad played and now I play.
Almost certainly.
Isn't that fucking nutty?
Yep.
That's weird.
I mean, like
not a bad way weird. It's just weird to think about.
I think about how the new Yakuza game is coming out this week, and the original Yakuza game was on the PS2 in when I was in my 20s, so like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So you just think about the PS2 generation is like 20 years old.
Yeah.
So any PS2 game is so old that if a person was playing that when they were a child, they're now old enough to drink now. So
that's crazy.
And let's not even get into the original NES.
I was just gonna say, it's crazy to even think about because we were just talking about a Mario game.
Yep.
And
it's like 30 plus. Let's see. 80. When I was 10, I'm 45. I got my Nintendo on my 10th birthday, so that's 35 years, and it had already been out for like a year or two before that. So it was like 37 years ago. Like that's an adult human. Like, you're born the day that the NES comes out. Yeah.
So
that's you.
Me.
It's you.
Me and Mario all the way. Mario, Luigi, Mario.
Holy shit! So you weren't even old enough to play NES Super Mario Brothers when it came out. Wow. Anywho, there's a the M&B Giant song called Older, and it's just all the lyrics are, you're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older, and now you're even older, and now you're even and like the video is just black and white with a timer like going up and up and up as they sing.
That's amazing.
I love it. A couple other things. The Saudi Arabia team won the Overwatch World Cup. So that happened at the BlizzCon this year. I watched a little bit of it. It's very hard for me to even understand what happens anymore because it's been elevated to be so fucking fast. But we're going to come back to the Overwatch League later. I know some people are going to be like, but what about that other thing? Don't worry, we'll get to that thing. And then last, Le Seraphim performed. This is the K-pop group that...
Oh, yeah. We talked about that the last time.
That they put out last week. They put out the skin. Fuck off TikTok. Just show me the thing. Last week they put out the skins for all the Overwatch ladies, and then this year or this week at BlizzCon or last weekend at BlizzCon, they had them actually there to do their performance. So
that's fun.
Yep, those girls are very attractive. Very attractive.
Yeah, little
K-pop
cuties,
ladies. So. I'm sure that they were super psyched to be dancing around in front of like a bunch of sweaty nerds.
I'm certain they're used to it. 100%.
If you're into K-pop, you're almost certainly used to dancing around in front of a bunch of sweaty nerds.
Yeah, especially if you're in like the U.S.
Yeah. And that was BlizzCon.
Ta-da!
That was pretty much it.
Dab. Sorry.
That's, to be honest, that's like a lot more like there were announcements for every single game that Blizzard puts out except for StarCraft. So like there was nothing on here about their horrible Diablo phone game that is like really predatory.
Oh, yeah.
But they're just going to let that fade into the background to make money for them because there are probably still people that are paying for it and playing it. So, I don't like Blizzard anymore.
Yeah.
They don't make anything that I'm really interested in. They're kind of like Activision or Ubisoft where
I miss Overwatch a lot.
Yeah.
We used to have a lot of fun.
Yep.
And now it's just like, I don't know.
I miss Diablo. I like to play Diablo.
Yeah.
And the new Diablo, I didn't even bother to get through Act 1. I was just like, nah, I don't care.
So I'm just, besides that, I got nothing. I'm not a Warcrafter.
Yep. I would play more StarCraft if they put it out. Maybe, depending on how horribly monetized it was. My hope, as I've said on a number of different podcasts, is that them getting bought by Microsoft and hopefully getting Bobby Kotick out of the CEO position means that Blizzard can finally just make some video games that don't have to be monetized as shit and totally multiplayer all the time.
Yeah. We'll see.
Because I don't think people want that. And unfortunately...
I think we're pulling away from it.
It's possible. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that it's been like, 3 weeks since you and I last did this, or maybe a month. We got a lot of layoffs this week as well.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
The industry is not going great. No. So let's go back to the Activision, the Overwatch League.
Yes.
Done. It's done. It's over. The Overwatch League has basically...
Congratulations, you've won. Get out.
Yes. So the Overwatch League was never very good for Blizzard. They had a lot of problems with it. One of the big things was that they desperately wanted teams to have like an identity, to have like a home base. So they required teams to like register in a specific geographic area. They'd be like the Chicago Titans or like the Houston fucking Tracers or whatever, right? Like they had a $20 million buy-in at first if you wanted to be in the league.
God damn.
Later on, that actually went up as they expanded it more and more. The problem, of course, is one of these things. I was thinking about this in terms of... I read this book on NFTs and blockchain, and it was more about like not the technical part, but just kind of the social part of what happened, over the last over the 5 years, the kind of the rise and fall.
Yeah.
And one of the things that it really was pointed out to me was that there's a lot of this happens a lot in corporate spaces where they're just like, well, let's get it going. and then we'll figure out how to make it make money.
Yeah.
You saw this with WeWork. I think that Airbnb is having this problem right now. They keep having to ratchet the rates up.
Yeah.
Uber Eats was like that, where at first it was dirt cheap, and it turns out it's like, no, if you want to make money, you're going to have to raise these prices immensely. The question was, how do you make money off of Overwatch League? Like, can you get it to a point where people will buy a jersey for the Houston Tracers and wear it in public?
Yeah.
Where they'll spend $40 on merch to get all, they'll drive for 4 hours to go to a stadium to watch people play Overwatch when they could just stream it on Twitch?
This might be crazy. I always thought leagues like this were to promote the game.
Oh, no.
Well, I always thought, because, who gives a shit about the person that won the Street Fighter tournament? But now I want to play Street Fighter because I saw people play Street Fighter in a way that looked real fucking cool.
The thing with Evo, right, is that you can actually make a lot of money with both entrance fees and with charging admission to have people come in and watch these tournaments, as well as, popcorn and beer and the things that you clap together and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing with
they got vuvuzelas there?
Right. yes, stuff
like while you're trying to play a game.
The thing with Evo, right, is that's all individuals.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have a Madden tournament, I'm like, I'm going to go to the Madden tournament. And so I go there and I enter. I don't have to join a league, a team, because it's not something that you have to have 7 people, an alternate, and a coach in order to run the same way that you do with stuff like this. Now, some MOBAs, like the International that does the Dota 2 tournament, you'll have teams like that. But I always got the impression that though MOBAs made a lot more money than Overwatch ever did.
Yeah.
Also, as they started catering more and more, I think there's a weird reverse psychology effect that happens where as you cater more to pro players, you're losing more casual players like you and I. And so then you and I are not going to watch Overwatch League because it's I don't even know how this works anymore.
Yeah.
Because I can't play it myself because it's too fucking hard and requires too much of a time investment to get into.
Yeah.
And I want to go play Mario, right? Yeah. So then that just creates a knock-on effect where the more technical, you're shrinking your audience more and more, and you're losing money on the game because fewer people are playing it because you're catering to this one segment as opposed to this big umbrella, Anyway, this had happened a little while back. There was also some kind of lawsuit that happened where there was some kind of Activision, I don't remember the exact details. Activision Blizzard had some kind of personal codes of conduct, and there was something about you can't go play in a Call of Duty league if you're playing an Overwatch league, you were locked in or something. I don't remember. There was something along those lines. They got a thing. The last time we heard about this was basically there was going to be a vote where all of the teams in the league were going to vote, and the vote was basically we can either continue forward, or you all get a $20 million payout. Every team gets $20 million, and the league is dispersed.
Yeah.
And I think that just the restriction and the overall lowered interest in Overwatch. I mean, as a streamer, can you get as much attention playing Overwatch?
Probably not.
The just overall kind of downturn of it meant that they all just took the buyout and said, sure, man, we'll take the 20 mil and split it between the 8 of us or whatever, and go our separate ways.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it makes sense, but it's kind of sad.
Yep. A little bit. I mean, the thing is that they just never really, I think that I was talking about, they jumped the gun.
Yeah.
Right? There's a thing where you start as a fan of, you're watching streamers play Overwatch online because you think it's fun to watch. And then you gradually become more interested in it. You start playing it yourself. And then you hear about this thing. And then maybe you get some friends together and you watch an Overwatch League game. And then it's just oh, that's really fun. I remember I went to a bar one time and they were playing Heroes of the Dorm on ESPN up on and so it was Heroes of the Storm, a college bracket of Heroes of the Storm. And I was sitting there in the bar for the first time in my life watching sports on the TV because I understood how that game worked.
Yeah.
But they keep jumping into this like, okay, we're going to create 12 teams and everyone's going to have a buy-in of $20 million and we're going to sink all this money in, where it's like, you can't force fandom like that. It's something you have to take advantage of when it organically grows.
Yeah.
Like you can nudge it, but
I just can't believe they don't have like one person whose job it is to research.
Yeah.
And also, it's weird to launch something without enough planning to understand how it reminds me of
holy shit, what? Oh my god, sorry, I just realized we've been doing this for 45 minutes.
Oh wow.
I didn't realize we're that far in.
It reminds me of when, especially like the beginning of our time in podcasting and online working and like Spill and stuff, the other people that were around that would be like, oh, I'm also gonna start a podcast, and then I'm going to make a lot of money and I'm going to do that for my job. And it's like, okay, well, how are you going to do that? And it's like, I'm going to have a podcast.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, how are you going to get an audience? Where are you going to promote it?
Yeah.
How are you going to do any of it? And it's just like, but the thing I want to do, you know?
It's the South Park underpants gnomes, right?
Yeah.
Start a podcast, step 2, question mark, step 3, profit. And it's like, the number 2 was that was the critical
important part.
Yeah. So, yeah. Also, one of the league owners fucking said goodbye with a goddamn AI generated
fucking
thing.
Yeah.
And people are roasting him. This was the Toronto Defiant saying goodbye. It says, thanks for the memories. Onward to the future. It's got a picture of 2 people like holding hands and walking away. This one guy's got like, they've obviously pasted like a hat in here because he's carrying this hat like a purse and a hand that's all fucked up.
Yeah.
This lady has something in her hand, and I can't tell what the fuck it's supposed to be, like a VR headset.
Yeah.
Nothing around the edges is Overwatch related, in spite of the fact that there's Overwatch.
I wasn't paying attention to it, but the second you look, it's really
also
funny.
Amanda, if you would direct your attention,
I will direct my attention.
right here, you will see that there's just like a straight up dong in the bottom left hand corner of this as well. So
look, if I'm going to AI generate something, it better have a dick on it.
Type in your AI prompt of like 2 friends holding hands going into the distance. Around them are various nerd gear. Also hide 1 dick in there, please.
Heck yeah.
So no more Overwatch League.
So sad.
I don't know. Let's see. Speaking of AI, there's some controversy happening right now. Microsoft has partnered with a company called InWorld AI to develop tools for Xbox developers to create AI-powered characters, stories, and quests. This is a multi-year partnership that's supposed to kind of talk about like an AI design co-pilot, which is basically just fancy for like custom chat GPT to basically let you do some minimal stuff and then come back with more more generated content, basically.
Honestly, and I'm not an AI person, it makes sense that video game companies are going to look into this because they worlds in video games keep getting bigger and bigger, and there's no way that you can have that much and make it feel realistic without, every 6th person saying the exact same thing.
Yep. When you have what's the example of in Mafia 2, there's a famous clip online where there were 2 NPCs that came and walked up and had a kind of a generated conversation where they were just kind of feeding lines back to each other, and they were both Nolan North.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's 2 Nolan Norths just talking
having
to
conversation
each other
with themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of like kind of razzling about this. Like I think that there are a lot of douchebag companies that are using AI in bad ways.
Yeah.
I don't think that generative AI is evil all by itself.
Yeah.
Companies already use tools to assist developers to make things faster. Everybody doesn't like hand paint every like frame of a thing by hand. There are already AI implementations. I actually think that this is a better sign because this company is then working directly with Microsoft to create something bespoke. And that's what I want to see. Is I don't want to see like, I'm going to use ChatGPT to write my video game. No. I want like Naughty Dog to get like to work with a company to create a custom assistant that is able to generate stuff based on their voice, based on what's going on. And I also wish they would start a little bit smaller, where it's like, we're going to put AI voice in the game, but it's not going to be the main announcers. It's going to be just like, over here on your left, right? So you can have like a million different voices with subtle variations that do that, as opposed to just hearing the same thing over and over and over again. Like, there are ways to use AI to just like throw a little bit more spice into the mix, to make things better.
I mean, use it the way it's supposed to be used, which is as a tool and not as a replacement for a person.
It's also worth pointing out that like a lot of video games already use quote unquote AI, right? Like every action that an NPC takes in a game isn't generated by hand, and like they were already using algorithms and decision trees and things like that. That AI, these new generative AI models just happen to be a different iteration on some of that stuff. Again, I see a lot of like the fucking Overwatch guy. Fucking hire somebody on DeviantArt if you want a heartfelt goodbye, right? Like, give them a minute to put something that people will be like, oh, I really love that image. It's so, it's affecting to me. As opposed
and then
to
be like, also hide a dong on there.
Yeah, and they could have hid like 2 dongs in there. Current AI can only do 1 dong.
Here's the thing. A true artist will put a dong that you asked for and then sneak another one in.
Yes.
Just cuts.
You get the double dong.
Yeah.
You get the double dong.
That's how you double dong it.
So
not that I would double dong it, just that it is, like an option for people.
I just wish that people would I wish that we could come to a thing where it's like, it's all evil.
Yeah.
It's all the future. It's like, it's something in between, and we just need to use it in better ways.
It's a tool, and it needs to be treated as such. And I think the argument in between everything else is very melodramatic.
I do too. You can misuse Photoshop. Let's put it that way. You could.
And I have.
Talking about dongs.
Speaking of dongs.
Let's see. This was basically just like, so this is the thing that, I don't know, there was another article here that was talking about this particular thing where they were just like, it was directly comparing this to the AI stuff that the SAG-AFTRA strike was striking against. Whereas, like,
that shit was crazy, though.
I really don't think it's the same. Like, especially because...
I mean, it can be, but it's not. I don't think the goals are the same.
Yeah. Well, especially because, like, the actors are, like, 90% of the thing, right? Like, in video games, the actors are, like... 50% on average, sometimes more, sometimes less, right? Like, how the game feels is more important a lot of times than the specific, like, I can't count the number of times where they put a Hollywood actor in a video game, and I was like, I wish they just hired Nolan North, right?
Yeah.
Like,
honestly, if you replace Megan Fox with Nolan North for that one character on
Mortal Kombat 1, Nitara,
that would have been way better.
You remember all the shit with Destiny when they hired Peter Dinklage, and then like 2 years later they just had Nolan North come in and redo it all?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay. So I don't know. There's a lot of doomsaying, and I think that a lot of that is because of the, we're talking about all the layoffs that are happening, and like the fact that people aren't generally, even people that I know that don't work any kind of tech, are not getting paid, and prices of everything has gone up, and it's like there's a lot of malaise.
Yeah, we are definitely in a world of corporate dictatorship, and so it's hard to be like, this is a thing that should be utilized in this positive way, and definitely won't be used to exploit like people and to make it so you don't have to pay anybody, and you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
it's like people are understandably cynical. It's just they're misdirecting it. Like, be mad at the corporations for abusing a tool. Don't be mad at the tool for existing.
Yes, that is a perfect summation of how I feel about this.
Yep.
Let's see. Finally, speaking of being mad at corporations, there was an article. This was interesting. Briefly, there was an article that came out. So this is kind of a whole story. So if you work at Microsoft, you get a free Game Pass Ultimate subscription.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say something like hat. You get a free hat.
You get a free hat.
Good job working at Microsoft.
So, yes. Game Pass Ultimate, if you work at Microsoft, you get it. The Verge reported on November 2nd that Microsoft was basically going to stop giving people Game Pass, stop giving their employees Game Pass Ultimate for free. Like, if you were an Xbox employee, you would still get it. But if you were just a standard Microsoft employee, no, you were not going to be getting Game Pass Ultimate for free. Microsoft employs about 200,000 plus people.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe. I mean,
so a big chunk.
Yeah.
So apparently this was so poorly received that people were tweeting at Phil Spencer and like their internal communication software. They were like, do not do this. As a quick aside, I've talked about this before, but like Microsoft does have a lot of good internal perks. When I worked there for about a year, and I was a temp. But even as a temp, they gave you a sticker for the back of your badge that basically was like you can get on any public transit in all of Seattle, and you just had to show this badge. And it was like you just go anywhere, anytime, any bus, completely 100% free. Their corporate store has a really good discount for full-time employees. So I was working there when the original Xbox came out. I think a lot of people would just go there and buy an Xbox and then put it on eBay because at just the retail price, right? But because they got the corporate discount, they could just
it's profit.
So after a little bit of consideration, Phil Spencer came out and was like, actually, no. I looked at this and everybody's going to get to keep their Ultimate Game Pass. So.
I kind of get it from one perspective of, you have so many employees that is profit you're like saying goodbye to. But if from a human level, like people in this world get such little perks nowadays.
Yes.
That like why how you work here, we're gonna make it worse. Like I don't understand.
Yes. The other thing that I always like to remember, I forget what this is called, is the value, the corporate value of Microsoft is like $3 trillion.
Yeah.
Like it's like way beyond.
It would they
are an incredibly rich corporation.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be like, "Hey, you guys cannot just drink all of nonstop all of our coffee at our mom and pop coffee shop with 3 employees."
Right.
You get one free, and then you gotta pay for the rest of the day if you're gonna keep drinking coffee. But like, a $3 trillion company being like, free shit.
Yeah.
That's coming straight out of my pocket. Like,
yeah. Yep.
It's silly.
Like I was mad earlier this year when they cut 1,000 employees, and I was like, you should just find other jobs for those employees because you have enough money to be able to weather this. You are making money hand over fist from the Windows division, right? Like every single computer that sells with Windows, Microsoft gets a piece of that. So like nobody else can say that every single fucking computer that gets sold, you get a piece of that. So yeah. I don't know if I want to get all the way into this because there's a lot going on. Tell you what, let's jump ahead a little bit.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to get all my...
We're going back to the future, baby.
I'll get all my notes out of order. I tell you what, I got 2 big things that we can do really quick before we wrap it up. We had N7 Day, November 7th.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like your Mass Effect Day.
Oh, my God, I forgot.
Yep. And we got a really anemic little teaser of a shepherd or some kind of character walking down.
Don't just say shepherd. You're going to get people excited for the wrong thing.
Walking around
with a sweet fucking jacket.
Trench coat, cyber trench coat, and a mask that was all closed up. They pull out a gun and walk out on an alien planet.
That looked really femme, right? Like that was the lady?
It looked like FemShep.
Okay.
I don't know if it specifically is.
That's not how my FemShep looked.
Looking for boobage. Can't find any boobage.
Yeah.
It's kind of a skinny character,
androgynous,
though. Yeah.
But they walk
They got
feminine.
little hippity hips going on.
They got hips that don't lie. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
You know who would lie to me? Not FemShep's hips.
This is not...
Oh, yeah, and heels. They're in
No,
Hill.
are they heels?
They
Or is
look
it just
like
like standard like
Hill boots, like wedged heel. Do you see?
Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much all we got. No name, no date, no announcement, no nothing. It was kind of like, meh.
Yeah, that's a little, we're still here.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yep. I don't even think they should do that.
Yeah. I mean, this might be weird. For some reason, them being in a helmet where you don't see their face.
Yep.
Feels more insulting.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna show me anything, you basically showed me nothing and a neat jacket. Do you know what I mean?
Very true.
Like, just give me something.
Yeah, we still don't really have any information outside of, I think that there was something about Liara. There's a whole like ARG thing. The question, the real question is, where does this take place?
Yeah.
And they seem to indicate that it's going to be both a sequel to Andromeda and also to Mass Effect 3, considering I have no idea what the fuck even happened in Andromeda. But weren't you and I going to play all the way through Andromeda?
Then we pulled the ripcord real fast.
No.
I think, tell me if I'm wrong, do you and I have the most failed attempts at sequentials?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think Matt and I bounced out of The Witcher, but you and we bounced out of Andromeda and Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah, and
was there another one?
We didn't finish Doom. Was that the DLC?
It was the DLC.
Okay.
It was the second DLC for Doom Eternal.
Because we were both
after the first one. We were just
dying,
not having fun.
Yeah.
Not having fun. Do not like. Yeah.
But we fully intended on doing a full sequential of it, and then we were like, no,
sure did.
That's not going to happen.
Sure did. Actually, no. Wait a minute. If we've only bounced out of two because, okay,
two and a half.
2.5 maybe, because Matt and I stopped playing The Witcher 3, but we also stopped playing Metroid Prime to play Mortal Kombat because we're both fucking sick of Metroid Prime. I don't know if we're going back yet.
Well,
I don't know yet.
You might, so
I don't know.
maybe.
Who knows? Matt's nipping at your heels. You need to get me to play more games when we stop playing and piss everybody off.
I don't want to play Outwake 2 anymore, Jeff.
No, you shut your mouth. I know you want to play Outwake 2. All right, and then last before we take a break, this is big news, Amanda.
No, I'm excited.
Grand Theft Auto 6.
I don't care.
is like they announced that it is going to be formally announced before the week is out. We're recording this on Thursday. It's possible that tomorrow we'll be seeing like a formal announcement for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
And
they announced that they're going to announce something?
Yes.
Okay.
And in December, we will be having our first trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. This is very big news. This will be like, not quite, but close to, we're going to be announcing Half-Life 3, in January type of thing.
I've been seeing a trend online of like whenever anything happens, people will go, we got this before we got Grand Theft Auto 6.
Right.
And so now that we're getting Grand Theft Auto 6, I guess you guys are going to have to come up with a new fucking joke.
Well, the thing to remember, of course, is that Grand Theft Auto 5 is like one of the most profitable video games that ever existed between the single player and between Grand Theft Auto Online. The other thing to remember, came out late last year. They put out next gen versions for the Xbox and the PS5.
Yeah,
that was a PlayStation 3 game. I got my copy of that game when I worked at Spill, and like they are only now just announcing a sequel.
I'm just a tried and true hater, though.
You just don't like Grand Theft Auto.
I don't like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Let's see. Profits. How many profits has Grand Theft Auto 5 made? $8 billion worldwide.
$8 billion. Apparently, having one hater doesn't matter.
Second best-selling video game of all time.
God damn.
You know what the first one is?
Minecraft.
It is. Yes. Yep.
I was literally just having that conversation with somebody because they didn't believe me, and I was like, "Are you fucking stupid?"
Yep. I think we talked about that last week with Michael, or the week before, where it was like, you have to understand that Minecraft, like, you may not like Minecraft, you may not play Minecraft. Minecraft is the most successful game that has ever
wildly
existed.
Successful, easy to go from one generation console to the next.
Yep.
Easy to jump in and out of.
Yep.
Easy for people to be casual with it. Easy for people to get very serious with it.
Yep.
People really like watching other people play it.
Yep.
People like to create things on it. You can make other games in the game. You can make video games with it.
It's big.
It's huge.
It's big.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grant and I, we beat it. It was legit. We just beat Minecraft. No problem.
There's an end to Minecraft?
Oh, yeah. You create the nether portal, you go into the dimension, and you fight the dragon.
See, so what I do is I always end up doing the same thing, which is I build a glass house underwater.
Uh-huh. And then get bored and stop playing the game.
And then I die a lot.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we've got a lot of bummer news, so I hope everybody is excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. We'll see you in just a minute.
Yay! I was yawning. Sorry.
Get excited, Amanda. We've got layoffs to talk about. Right. So
is this how you tell me you're firing me, Jeff?
Yes. Get out.
All right.
No,
bye.
I didn't want to joke about that because it's what Amanda wants you guys. It's played right into her hands. Only on
podcast days.
Yes, only on podcast days, not on Alan Wake days. Yeah, we're gonna go through some of these pretty quick because some of this stuff is just I don't know, like Ubisoft laid off 98 people from one of their Canadian studios this week. This was a lot of admin, IT, and then a part of their organization called Hybrid with an E, Hybride, which was like a VFX studio that does like VFX and stuff. But they actually worked on things like Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, and things like that. So more than just games.
Yeah.
But, this is kind of what we've talked about. I've had a story like this every week for like a month and a half now. So
that's such a bummer.
Yeah. Well, and then the problem is so here's the thing. It is a bummer. I don't want it to happen. Definitely not. However, there is the possibility, let me just say that this is not an easy upside, but it is a potential upside that with a lot of development people, a lot of talented people off getting laid off at the same time, it's possible that we might be seeing the beginning of like a bunch of those different groups starting up indie studios to make interesting games, and then obviously not all of them will be good, but that some of them might be the next take your pick,
big indie,
Homebody or like what the indie shit that you and I play Slay the Princess or something like that works out well. So
yeah, there's always a silver lining, and we're definitely at the cusp of that happening, I think, more than...
Yeah.
But
also, I mean, like, Ubisoft doesn't strike me as a super good place to work anyway. So, I mean, like, and that's like saying, oh, I got laid off from McDonald's. You're like, oh, that must have sucked anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, diminish it. But
yeah, still people losing their jobs.
I'd rather see creative people go out there and, like, make something that they want to make instead of getting crammed into the Assassin's Creed factory for the next 5 years.
That is true.
So if they can make it out, they're in Canada, right? They actually have like social programs that'll help people that are unemployed. Right?
I don't know. Canada is so foreign to me.
I have no idea. Let's see. We also found out that Cryptic, which is the company that makes Star Trek Online and the Neverwinter MMO, is also having a bunch of people laid off. I'm kind of...
Why y'all doing this right before the holidays? No.
I actually could probably answer that. It's probably
bullshit tax reason. Got to do it before Q whatever, and
they just posted their Q3 earnings.
Yeah,
and so if you fire a bunch of people right after the end of Q3, then your Q4 operating expenses will be lower. So if you're done with Q3 and you're projecting a potential loss over the holidays, if you're projecting a potential sales downturn, laying people off means that you can appease your shareholders by cutting your operating expenses, because every time, this one's also just 100 people. Yeah. It's always like 100 people. And I was like, why is it always 100 people? And I thought about it, and it's like, well...
Is that some like percentage that it's hitting?
No, but if you had 100 people and they were all making like $50K a year, then like you're getting, well, let me do the mental math on that, right? You're getting like $5 million back off of that.
Yeah.
You're taking $5 million out of like pay, probably more than that, because you got to pay into Social Security and medical insurance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like 100 people is a pretty round number, and it's a pretty easy way to just like chunk your expenses into a place to get you into the black.
Well, as long as it's not some cold-hearted, weird accounting thing.
Sure.
I guess it's okay that a couple hundred people are losing their jobs right before the fucking holidays.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like, they get decent severance or something when this happens.
This one I think is, let me see if I can find out. This one might be in Britain. Because this is one of the studios that was owned by Embracer. Embracer is they're American. Okay, so
you guys are fucked.
Los Gatos, California.
Ooh, the Cats, California. I do not know where Los Gatos is.
This actually comes from like this is such a weird. It's kind of like. We all saw how crypto went, but this is kind of like something similar. I think that happened is that like during the pandemic, you had a lot of money sloshing around. You had a lot of people at home that were buying more things. They're buying a lot more games, a lot more consumer electronics.
Yeah.
A lot of these companies were getting huge influxes of cash. One of the stories of that, just as a recap, is the Embracer Group, which I actually found out used to be Nordic Entertainment.
Yeah.
Which is why they came out of nowhere. They started just like sucking up studios like Zen Studios and Cryptic and a bunch of these other places. And then early this year, late last year, they were supposed to get a $2 billion venture capital investment from the Saudis. They didn't. And so immediately what has now happened is because the now parent group of a lot of these like indie studios, smaller studios, and whatever, they're all getting squeezed.
Yeah.
They're all getting downsized. Some of them are getting sold off. They're already trying to sell off Gearbox. They shut down Volition that made Saints Row. And actually, their COO, Egil Strunke, like formally left. Now, this was announced back in July, but he put on his LinkedIn page that he has formally left, and he is going to start up his own kind of similar group, like a studio, basically.
Yeah. And I know just the 100 people to get him going.
Well, the thing is that it's got to be like if you're the downside of all of this, right, is that like if you are in an economy where there are a lot of unemployed people that are looking for work, then you have a better choice of talent when you are starting something new up.
Yeah.
So it can be good, but it's not good because people still. It's such a. You start getting into economics, and it's just like such a fucking. You got to treat people like numbers, and that's gross, and I don't like doing it. So, anyway, this was formally announced this week. He's starting a new company called Strunk Games, which basically it sounds like he wants to take a lot of what he was doing at Embracer and do it on a smaller level.
Scale, yeah.
Not buy Lord of the Rings and fucking Deus Ex and all of these different things. Like, start small. It's kind of what we were talking about with Overwatch, right? Instead of like doing these giant moves like Microsoft, right? You want to like start small, put out something really good.
Sometimes that's the way to go. You build this smaller audience. That smaller audience grows into a bigger one. You're as you get better, it invites more people in, and then you become a giant conglomerate company.
Yep.
And then everyone hates you.
We've seen this year. I think that off the top of my head, I can say Dave the Diver and like Dredge were both indie Steam games that like
wildly
really
popular.
blew up. They were $20 and then they sold like several million copies, and that's $20 million. That's $40 million right there. So you can.
There's always like at least one a year of these like tiny why did they happen games?
The breakout indie,
the like Untitled Goose Game and stuff like that.
Case of Golden Idol, kind of
where
thing.
it's just like wildly successful and people just accept it. Nobody questions it.
Yep.
That's why you should always embrace the weird stuff.
That's what I like to do.
That's why we always end up playing the weirdest shit.
What did we play last year besides Slay the Princess? What was the other thing we played?
Oh, the bed we make.
Oh, right, the snooping.
Yeah, that one was fun too. That was
They Were Roommates game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually found out some spoilers for that game when I was looking for
fuck, you gotta tell me
images to put on the thumbnail. Speaking of Embracer, the next company that is potentially on the chopping block for Embracer is Free Radical Design. For anybody who doesn't know, this is the company that made Time Splitters, the Time Splitters game back in the old days.
Is that the picture? Is that from Time Splitters?
Yes.
That looks like Jason Statham.
It was. I think it was a franchise that was very very popular during the PS2 era.
Yeah. I never played it, but I remember the popularity of it.
Yeah, where you had to like kind of go to different times and then like shoot people. It's funny because I was like, oh well, that's a shame, and then I went and looked up like what have they done like since then? Yeah, and I gotta say, guys, like like this company. The last actual so they were Free Radical Design until 2008, and then they were Crytek UK until 2014. The last actual game that they put out was in 2014. It was called Warface. It was an online kind of shooter game they made for Microsoft. Yeah. Before that, it was like ports of Crysis. And the last like original thing I think they put out was Haze, which was like really badly.
That was forever ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. They were working apparently on Battlefront 3, and then that got axed. They're working on Time Splitters 4. That got axed. They were working on a new untitled Time Splitters game for Deep Silver, but it's possible they might get shut down before that ever sees the light of day.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, to be honest, like I have a lot of sympathy. I don't like people to lose their jobs, but if you haven't put out a retail video game since 2014, like that's.
But that's not the people who lost their jobs' fault. There's a decision maker that was like, we only want you to do this garbage shit.
Well, plus, I mean, seeing Star Wars Battlefront 3 on here means that they spent a lot of time like working on that, and then that game got canceled. Yeah. So, but by the same token, it's not like this is a company that is just cranking out banger after banger, and then suddenly they got shut down. Like, I feel worse for Volition because they just put out that Saints Row game.
And it was good!
I liked it.
And it was fucking good!
Oh, there was a thing last week. This should make you happy. They put it on PlayStation Plus. Yeah. And they had last week and this week like charts for PlayStation Plus. And Volition's Saints Row reboot went from number 93 before it was put on PS Plus to number 4 on PlayStation Plus. It was like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Minecraft, fucking Saints Row. So
yeah, that shit breaks my heart. I'm gonna take that with me to the fucking.
I liked it.
You know what I mean?
I liked
I'm gonna be real bummed for a long time.
It was buggy. It was rough around the edges. But hey, man, I played a lot of buggy, rough around the edges games.
Dude, I played perfect games that like run really well and weren't fun to play.
Yep.
I'll take a little bit of damage for some good.
A little jank.
Yeah.
A little jank.
Also, it's Saints Row. If you're expecting a perfect game, you didn't play the other Saints Row.
Some people got way too invested in Saints Row. They were like, Saints Row 4 was my favorite game of all time. And I'm like, was it?
Yeah.
But was it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Next, a bunch of laid off Dragon Age testers were picketing BioWare last week. This is really interesting. These are QA testers that were working for a third-party firm that was working for BioWare.
Oh.
This is the story of, if y'all remember from a few weeks back, where they unionized, or a chunk of them unionized, and then it just so happened that everybody that got laid off were the people in the union. They were negotiating their first contract.
I think I remember us talking about that.
Yeah. Not just that, but they also, apparently, like, I saw this on Twitter, they had to train their replacements. They had to train
Fuck you. If you ever ask me to do that, I will just, no, I'll train you wrong because that's funny.
So part of this was that these people were in, I believe this is in Edmonton, that the company they were working for had no headquarters in Edmonton, and so they asked their union, do you sanction us going to go picket BioWare? And they were like, yeah, man, go do whatever you want.
Please.
And then BioWare apparently contacted the union and was like, please don't have them come picket us. We didn't do this. We didn't decide that you guys were going to get laid off. And a lot of these positions were also work-from-home positions. So there's people that never even were in this building at any time, but they still just showed up. I personally am of the mind of like, okay, you fucking shut up. Like, you
Which
first off, I don't believe that you didn't have the BioWare didn't have any control over this. Second off, okay, calm down. Like, it's a bunch of people with signs outside of your building saying, like, these guys suck. I'm sure the people that work there are like, yeah, they do. Fucking high five. All right, I'm going to work now. Like,
I mean, but it makes sense anyway, because now maybe BioWare would consider not utilizing a company that
acts like jerks.
Yeah, that like fires all their unionized workers, or maybe they will use their much larger voice to help support unionized workers.
Yep.
Maybe it makes the most sense to do that.
I also I don't have any real sympathy for
corporations.
I don't. Oh no, we will be inconvenienced on Thursday, and it's like, okay, well,
fuck your Thursday.
Yeah, calm down, Cindy. All right, like fucking, tuck your pantsuit back in, put on your big boy pants, and just like walk past the guys yelling at you. Oh no, do you feel bad? Well, guess what? There was a way for you not to feel bad.
Yeah.
Like before this happened. So, I mean, I don't want to go all the way to well if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, but like we're 75% of the way there, in my opinion. Also, fuck you guys. You put out some N7 news, some actual...
Maybe I'd be on your side.
Maybe I'd be more inclined.
Could tell if that was FemShep or not.
Yeah, god damn it. Bungie put out a statement last week in lieu of their normal live stream. This is to address all of the layoffs that happened at Bungie last week.
Christ.
Including
this is exhausting.
One of their most well-beloved and famous composers that did some of the best work for Destiny's music. This is, I'm going to just say that, this is just such fucking lip service bullshit, right?
Yeah.
This has been one of the most difficult weeks in our studio's history as we parted ways with people we respect and admire. We've spent this week supporting one another, including those who are at the studio, as well as friends and colleagues who no longer are. We want to acknowledge the feedback and concerns you have about Lightfall in the recent seasons, as well as your responses to the reveal of the final shape. We know we have lost a lot of your trust. Destiny needs to surprise and delight. We haven't done this enough, and that's going to change. It's like, you know what? There's a story that happened a long time ago. This happened a few times. When Square Enix thought that Tomb Raider reboot was going to do like Call of Duty numbers.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Yeah.
And when it didn't, their CEO came out, formally apologized, and took a fucking pay cut. Like, I'm tired of this message on Twitter. I'm tired of the screenshot of the text from the corporate website on Twitter. Like, if you're really sorry, I want to see you take a pay cut.
Yeah.
I want to see you on camera formally apologizing, like effacing yourself. I want to see you bowing to shareholders and saying, like, I'm very, very sorry. This is not going to happen again. Or, like we saw with Unity, I want to see you fucking resign.
Yeah, step down.
Like, the people that got Destiny into this situation are not the people that got fired.
Yeah.
Just like you said before, right? Like, this was a management problem.
Yeah.
It continues to remain a management problem. And I don't know why the like, oh, we're very, very sorry.
Yeah, I hate the like, we're supporting each other. Yeah, you supported them through your decision to fire them.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's insane talk to me. That's a little bit like,
you know what, I think what it is and this is for anybody who maybe is tired of hearing me rag on this stuff, is like, I don't know about you, but a long time ago I made the decision where it's like, I don't care about apologies. Like, if you're my friend and you've done something wrong and it's like, and you're just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't care if you're sorry. What I want is for whatever happened to not happen again.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what's more important to me than you expressing contrition. I don't care about the blame. I care about making sure that what just happened doesn't happen again.
100%. I think like an acknowledgement of a mistake being made and then progress afterwards is totally different than an apology.
Yes.
I hate apologies. I hate apologies because they get thrown out so willy-nilly that people like say something really fucking rude to you and then be like, well, sorry, I guess. And it's like, no, go fuck yourself. No fucking I guess.
Well, the reason that I came to this was because I knew too many people that would do something shitty and then apologize and then do something shitty and then apologize. And it's like, I don't care about the apologies. You can keep them. You don't have to humiliate yourself or do whatever. all I want you to do is to stop being shit.
I don't. That's straight. The girls at my work have been talking about. They're all young single girls, and then I'm married, and so I only have like past relationships to relate to them when they're talking about like bad dating and stuff. Because John is a saint in comparison to everything else, and so it triggers me into the like guys that I had dated that were very treat you like shit or be like very abusive, and then have these beautifully worded apologies, and then go back to treating you like shit. When you're young, right? You're like 16,
it'll never happen again.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, yeah, of course. Look at how beautiful you wrote, of course. Yep. And then they do the exact same thing, and then the exact same apology, and it's like, you just got that shit copy and pasted? Like, what the fuck?
Also, I mean, like, I have a lot. I do not have very much. I do not have very much sympathy for Bungie because they got bought by Sony for like $1.2 billion like last year. And it's like, I'm sure that there is money left that could have meant that you didn't have to lay people off. But
right for the fucking holidays. Sorry.
All right. How about somebody that we all hate already, and it's not controversial at all? The PlayStation is losing the ability to post your shit to Twitter with the share button on the PlayStation 5. Amanda, I will give you one guess without even looking at the screen whose fault this is.
Let's see. PlayStation and Twitter, Elon Musk.
Yep. It 100% is, because that motherfucker has changed the API for connecting to Twitter. He wants to charge everybody. Like,
that shit is so funny.
Yep.
You're broken. No,
you're destroying it. So this is what I find really interesting. The basic access for quote unquote hobbyists or prototypes for API access to Twitter is now $100 per month. The next level up is the pro tier for quote startups and startups scaling their business is $5,000 a month. Sony would probably be on the subscription that, based on usages and needs, this is from PC Gamer article, starts at $42,000 per month.
Fuck you. I would not do it.
$42,000 per month for the ability for me to post my Spider-Man thing.
Just fine. You just fire 100 people and then you got that cash.
Well, just like, or I could just not use your increasingly shit service.
It's losing people.
The idea that he's like, I want it to be the everything app, and it's like, well, this ain't the way to do that, Chief. Yeah. Like, I want it to be the everything app, and that's why I'm kicking more and more legitimate things off of it and filling it with more and more Parler subscribers. And I'm like, that's not the everything app.
That's like the opposite.
The idea that I'm not going to go political here, but like the idea that when I found out that like he got Tucker Carlson to start doing his show on Twitter, and I was just like, okay, listen, I don't care who it is. I don't want to watch videos on fucking Twitter.
You don't want to sit on Twitter and watch videos?
No. Like, I don't care who's on there. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it.
You don't remember Bubbles? Do you remember Bubbles? Twitter for a hot minute pre-Elon had a feature where a bubble would come up and it'd be a video and it'd be like 10 seconds.
I don't know if I remember that even. I don't know if I was
very brief amount of time. Nobody wanted it.
All right. Speeding up. Despite the fact that we all know that there is a second Switch coming, we got the report from Mainichi, which is a Japanese outlet, that the president of Nintendo, Shuntaro Furukawa, basically was like, no, there is no Switch 2. We've never shown it to anybody. It doesn't exist. We're not even talking about it, whatever. To be honest,
I believe him.
Like, let me be clear. This makes sense. You would never say right before Black Friday and Christmas shopping, there's going to be a more powerful version that plays the same games, but they're going to look better, like within 3 months. So I get it. The problem is that, like,
we know.
We already know. We already know that there's one here. Like,
this is an issue that I think the internet has created.
Yeah.
It happens with like video games. It happens with pro wrestling is my prime example for this, in that the wrestling fans now know every intricate detail of the behind the scenes stuff, that you can't be surprised and you cannot book now so you can do something else later. So like all the fans already know that this guy is coming back and he's going to go for the title. So any title shot until then means jack shit because we know nothing's going to happen until this one guy comes back.
Right.
And I think that the internet has now created the like we want you to buy the Switch so that the Switch is successful so that we can do a good launch of the Switch 2.
Yep.
But now you have created a scenario in which we have to pretend like there is no Switch 2.
Yep.
You know there is.
Yep.
And it's just this awkward standstill of nothing.
It also is not really their fault that like one of the primary things that we found about one of the primary methods that with which we found out about the Switch 2 was the FTC filings with like Microsoft. So anyway,
are you telling me that maybe Microsoft accidentally released something that could prohibit better sales for Nintendo?
Every time the video game industry has to go to court, I fucking love it. I love it because you can't just be like, who knows what'll happen in Q4. It's like, no. You have to show me the documents. Like you can't
They're
just
like,
be
never say never. And it's like, that's not how this works.
That's not how this works. You're under oath. Okay, maybe the bigger news is that we got confirmation on the Nintendo website that a live-action Legend of Zelda film is in production, is starting production now.
Who's directing it?
Let's see. There is we do have, let's see. So Shigeru Miyamoto and Avi Arad are producing. Avi Arad is not like, that's not great considering the last movie that Avi Arad produced was Morbius.
His comic book movies are not the best.
Listen, Avi Arad has had some good things under his belt.
I feel like those are just a coincidence.
But like,
I think they were good despite him.
Across the Spider-Verse, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, my favorite movie. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Venom, but he also like Ghost in the Shell,
just
Amazing
so we're
Spider-Man
clear, his
2.
name is attached to every Marvel movie.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Between a very specific time frame.
Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk.
He definitely was a part of Daredevil, if
Iron
I'm not
Man.
mistaken.
Yep.
Which means he was also part of Elektra.
Yep.
Which means we all have to deal with that.
We all have to deal with knowing that. I'm really more concerned about what is this Man-Thing movie from 2005? There was a Man-Thing movie in 2005?
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway, and then it's being directed by Wes Ball, whose basic credit is the whole Maze Runner film franchise.
Okay, that's not like crazy.
And then
and Zelda.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, a new one that's coming out soon. So
I can't believe they're still making Planet of the Apes films.
Yeah, me neither. I've heard they're all good, but I don't care about the apes. So
yeah, I don't even like the originals, and I love Paul Williams, and he's in it.
The one thing that is clear here is apparently when you look at Avi Arad, it seems like he's attached to a lot of things and that it really depends on the creative team and like the strength of the stuff. Okay. Shigeru Miyamoto is not going to let them make a crap ass Zelda movie. Like, I think that if they make a crap ass Zelda movie,
they're just not going to
we'll
have
never see it.
It's just going to be shelved forever.
It'll go up on the shelf with Batwoman and we'll never fucking see it.
Yeah.
So
sad face.
But I don't know. I mean, okay, what do you think about the idea that Mario was animated but they're not sticking with the animation. They're going to live action for Zelda. Like,
I think Zelda lends itself to live action. I think you could do fun live action. I think
it's more like swinging a sword and less like jumping on a mushroom that would look really weird.
Yeah,
like
well, I mean, you really have to accept a lot of weirdness with Mario, where it's like, Italian plumbers, Mario, and Luigi Mario, and then they end up going down a tube into the Mushroom Kingdom with Princess Peach, who's the only human amongst a bunch of toads that are like mushroom people.
Yep.
And then a giant dragon, and it's like, that's too much.
Don't get me started on Yoshi.
Yeah, right? Like, it's too much for live action unless you, like, really lean into how crazy... Like, you'd have to Barbie that shit.
Yeah.
And I just don't think anybody is... Like, that's Not only Barbie has done it.
I bet Edgar Wright could make a Super Mario Brothers movie.
I think Edgar Wright could do it. He's a good choice. But yeah, so that made sense as a cartoon. I think Legend of Zelda or Zelda franchise, I don't know what story they would lean towards. I think you could do live action.
Yeah.
You could make your own version that's not any specific story. That's just coming because there's like a gazillion timelines.
I think it'd make a good TV show, right? Considering how long the quests are, like, oh, this season is the water temple and the next season is like the air temple or something. Yeah,
I just want it to have an air of whimsy to it. Yeah. Because I feel like you could lean hard into a weird, like, Game of Thrones-y, like, darkness.
I think that with Miyamoto attached, like, it's not going to be too dark, right? That's just the thing, is that one of the things that I really think Nintendo is good at is making sure that the things that they put out are of a certain level of quality. Yeah. That, like,
you know what I want? I want Legend, like with Tim Curry and Tom Cruise, but I want of Zelda.
I tell you what I want is like I want
that Legend of Zelda.
I want the Dark Crystal of Zelda where everybody's a Muppet.
No, but they don't have to be Muppets. I'm fine with that.
I want them to be Muppets.
But genuinely, like that dark fantasy, but it has the whimsy and it has the innocence in it still.
Like it's a fun movie, but it's still scary enough to scar your childhood. Yeah, but you'll still watch it again.
For instance, I won't. I don't watch Dark Crystal, and I love Muppet stuff, but I do not watch Dark Crystal. Once they start tearing off that Skeksis' clothes, I'm like, I don't need any of this.
Yeah, my sister, I was young enough that it was the Dark Crystal that traumatized me. My sister, I'm sorry, I'm outing my sister's fears. It was Labyrinth. She was too young when she saw Labyrinth, and the scene where the Fireys are taking their heads off and stuff.
Yeah, and they were like
too much.
Talking about taking her head off and stuff. My first time watching Labyrinth, the hands making faces, I was like, that shit's like. On screen, it's cool, but if you are any type of person that can project yourself into what it would feel like,
to be grabbed by all the hands.
The whole idea of like you're just in this dark tunnel.
They're helping hands.
They're horrifying. It's horrifying.
Yeah. See, I think it's weird because the helping hands, I think I was old enough that it didn't bother me. But I remember when I watched Neverending Story and you remember they had the big rock faces in the walls.
Yes.
I think that really creeped me out.
Return to Neverland also has that, where I feel like as an adult watching it, you're like, oh, it's kind of creepy, but not super creepy. But when you're a kid and there's like a woman who she changes her head.
Return to Oz.
Oh, Return to Oz. I said Neverland.
I was trying to figure out if you meant that or not.
But. Yeah, Return to Oz.
Yeah. Oh God, just the Wheelers, man. Yeah. Those guys are fucking crazy.
Right? It's just, I don't know.
And then everybody forgets that the framing device for that movie is that Dorothy's in a mental institution and getting like electroshock therapy and stuff. I gotta go watch that movie.
It's horrifying, and then it's like real quiet when they do it too. They like set her up, and you can just hear that machine like, "It's gonna make you feel so much better. You'll be able to sleep." And then you just hear them like cranking it, and yeah, it's nuts. We just watched it before Halloween.
Silent Hill 2 fans have lost their shit.
Shock.
This is almost certainly a typo. Just FYI, spoiler alert. So the new Silent Hill remake from Bloober Team is not out yet, but there was a listing for the PS5 version on Best Buy's website that said, a quote, fan favorite character, Pyramid Head, makes a return along with a special origin story for fans to play through. So this probably was supposed to be fan favorite character, Pyramid Head, makes a return, along with a special origin story for fans to play through.
Oh, they think that Pyramid Head's getting an origin story.
They think
that's not how I heard that, but yes. I get how it
because they're so afraid that Bloober Team's going to fuck this up that they're just looking for any reason that Bloober Team might be fucking this up. Yeah. And so the idea that they're going to make a origin story for Pyramid Head, who is ostensibly just a manifestation of James's lust and brutality, like
Yeah.
That would be terrible. I'm going to silence my phone.
Yeah, what's going on?
It's just sent to Discord, and people start talking on Discord, and I'm just like, shut up.
Chatty bitches. Jesus Christ, you guys are ruining this podcast.
Nobody can actually hear any of that, so it's
I
us.
know, but we're trying to talk, and you just hear like, out of your phone.
Yeah. This has been removed. It almost certainly meant, because there was a prequel DLC for Silent Hill 2 called like a Wish, One Wish or something like that. That was about the Maria character in Silent Hill 2 and her kind of coming into born from a wish. It's almost certainly means that is going to be included with the game.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yep.
Now I want to hit the secret origin of Pyramid Head.
I was no one till I put on the pyramid.
I just always liked triangles.
I put you on silent, not vibrate. Come on. If you thought Lords of the Fallen was too easy, then you're in luck, because they're making it harder.
Good. I'm tired of all these easy games.
Yep.
I certainly don't just play casual baby games regularly.
Wait till you get to that last level in Super Mario Wonder. I can't fucking beat it. Like,
I might quit right before that.
You should quit right before. You should try it and then quit.
Yeah, because if I go, I'm not enjoying it, then I just move on.
I'm not enjoying it. Fucking invisibility bullshit. Anyway, Lords of the Fallen came out. It's very difficult. It's one of the reasons that I'm not playing it. Another reason being because since John and I were doing the sequential for Elden Ring, it's like I keep playing this like the best Souls game there is, and it's like, here's a knockoff, and I'm like, nope,
no,
I prefer McDonald's brand French fries, not your fucking Ore-Ida oven fries that you took out of the freezer.
How dare you insult the dinner that I just had yesterday? What the
fuck? Yes. They have also added apparently some moves to some bosses to make them even more difficult. I'm just like, great. Not interested.
Yeah.
Not even remotely interested. I'd be more interested in that game if it had a difficulty thing where I could be like, I'm going to play this on easy mode to see what your story was. Because it seemed kind of interesting before it came out. But then it came out, and I was like, the benefit to overcoming the hurdles of this game is not good enough for me to want to do it.
Yeah.
Also, it's worth pointing out for the gajillionth time that most Souls games, there are ways that you can make them easier.
Yeah.
And these types of games just tend to lean too hard for me into the whole challenge thing. So, anyhoozles. Speaking of hard, Baldur's Gate 3 is
that
getting...
That could have gone in so many different directions.
Is getting another difficulty mode.
Yeah.
Currently, there is a mode that is called... Tactician. That's like the hardest mode in the game.
Okay.
The previous game, Divinity Original Sin 2, had a mode called Honor Mode that was like the hardest mode. People found that in the achievements for Warhammer or for Baldur's Gate 3,
mode.
Yeah, there's one for beating the game in Honor Mode. Honor Mode is harder than Tactician, which is incredibly hard. It also has permadeath, and if you wipe your party, it deletes your save game, and you got to start over again from the beginning.
Holy shit.
Some people really like this sort of thing. It happens in other games.
As an option, I think it's fine.
Yes.
Like, if it's the sole way you can play the game, no. But, like, if it's an option, just like easy mode, I don't see why having it is an issue for anybody.
I do not believe that it should. Yes.
I won't play it. Again, baby games.
Right. No, but it's good that it's there. I mean, I have to keep reminding myself, all the time that most people focus on one game at a time, and when I mean at a time, I mean for like 6 months at a time. Like, I cranked through Baldur's Gate 3 in like a week, and it was like 150 hours or something. Like, I was doing nothing but eating, sleeping, and playing Baldur's Gate 3 and recording. So some people casually played through the game, and when they got done, they were like, I loved that so much, all I wanted to do was start over again and try it a different way. The game supports that, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like the game really wants you to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of hard mode,
speaking of hard,
Baldur's Gate 3 also has restored the % sex speedrunning community. So, Baldur's Gate 3 has speedrunners.
Yeah.
One of these speedrun categories is called % sex, and it is how fast can you go from the beginning of the game to boning.
Just so we're clear, this is how fast can
Your
one of our
character
characters lose their virginity.
Yes. So the way that people would do this is it turns out that Lae'zel, the Githyanki companion, is hot to trot, and like
She's good to go, baby.
if you create a certain kind of character, I watched one of these speedruns, you can jump like way far. And so you basically jump through the beginning of the game, and then you jump immediately to this one thing that you have to do, and then you got to rescue her, and you can totally trigger the cutscene where you have sex
I
with her.
didn't think now have sex, and she's like, I guess.
She's very aggressive in the original game code. Like without even being nice to her, like the first time you guys have like a little party, she's just like, you, me, over there, right now, and you're just like, no, thank you, ma'am.
Like, hold on.
So one of the things that Baldur's Gate 3 did in their patch last week was they changed the states to romance characters to make them like specifically not be all. When the game launched, all the sliders were set wrong, and so everybody wanted to jump your shit right away because the threshold for when they would trigger romance was too low.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So when they did this, they broke the
That's
percent.
exactly how you get D&D fans into playing these fucking games. They're like, I just loaded it up and everyone wanted to fuck me, and that's the first time I've ever said that in my entire life.
There was so doing this update broke it so that you could no longer do this. Larian issued a hot fix where it's like, if you just play through the game normally, you still will have to do steps, but if you do what they do in this speed run, you can still do it in 2 minutes.
Like,
so good job, Larian.
Do it in 2.
Yep.
Some people don't like it that fast, but if you do, that's on you.
Oh boy, we are
None of that was words.
getting way behind.
I'm sorry for party rocking.
Should never apologize for party rocking. What would Red Food do? That's my own personal motto.
I have that tattooed on me.
Let's see. Next up, the developers for Cities Skylines 2 came out with a statement saying that there will be no DLC until the game is running well. So this game came out. It has been running kind of poorly. They are dedicated to getting it to run better before they start work on paid DLC. There were like 65 different packs. This is SimCity. So there are like 65 different packs for the previous one, which is good. They seem really blasé about the performance. Like, this is the developer that was like, nobody needs to play this game at 60 frames per second. Like, we're targeting 30 because there's no reason for people to want to play our city building game at 60 FPS. And I'm like, I don't know about all that, guys. But good on them.
Good job, guys.
Payday 3's first big patch that's been delayed. Hey, it's out. It's out.
Huzzah!
So if you put Payday 3 on the shelf, this has a whole bunch of improvements, apparently to make it perform better and to make things work better. So after 2 months, now that nobody's playing this and we're in the biggest game release season of the year.
Yeah, oh my God.
Now you can go back and play Payday 3. Bada bing, bada boom.
Hey, I mean, winter season, you ain't going out that much. Just stay home, rob some banks.
Yeah. Fortnite had its biggest weekend ever, biggest day ever. They just did a throwback thing where they brought back the first map from Fortnite because
Holy
they
shit.
changed it a lot, right? And a lot of the original mechanics for it as a throwback thing. Apparently, they had 44.7 million consecutive players or just players on Saturday, November 4th. That racked them up over 102 million hours of play on that day.
Damn.
So big.
It's so weird. Things like Fortnite are huge, and I have little to no interaction with it.
Yep.
Like, it just boggles the mind.
Wait till I tell you the numbers on Roblox.
Yeah, that shit trips me out too.
Yep. Let's see. Epic is back in court. this time going up against Google over the App Store fees that they charge. They get the same thing for Apple.
Yeah.
One of the things that we found out, though, is that the Epic Game Store is still not profitable at all. So the Epic Game Store launched in 2018 to be a direct competitor to Steam. They have spent billions giving games away, buying exclusivity.
Yeah.
Control on the PC was an Epic Game Store exclusive for a while, right? None of this has made them profitable.
Wow.
Like, they have not been able to pry it out of Steam. I personally think that one of the reasons for that is that they can't keep games forever on the Epic Game Store. That like after a year they go into Steam, and the people that are PC gamers are like,
I'll just wait for it to go on Steam.
Enough fucking games out there, and I don't want to have to log into your bullshit.
Bro, everyone knows that if you have a Steam account, you have like 70 games that you bought and you just haven't fucking played
Never
yet.
installed.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's basically nothing. Losing. It tweeted they lost more than $300 million on the store. Again, this is what happens when you try to take on like the one guy in the industry after years and years and years of letting them sit there by themselves, accruing users. So.
Yeah, it is also a little nutty to go straight for like the top, like you know.
Yeah.
It's hard.
There's also it's also not like Steam doesn't have any direct competitors or doesn't have competitors also, because there's also GOG and Humble and a few of those other places. Like you might have been better off buying one of those or trying to buy one of those.
Yeah.
So let's see. Speaking of Steam, this is good. Steam is beta testing. They're working on a feature that will let you mark some games in your Steam library to basically make them like, nobody can see this, nobody can see that I own it, nobody can see that I'm playing it, nobody can see achievements from it. Steam is full of porno, and like, why would you want your friends to know what porno you're playing right now?
Yeah.
Like in the Discord, when I launch a Steam game, it shows what I'm playing.
That's amazing.
So yeah, this is not currently even in the Steam beta, but it is being worked on. This is the sort of thing that I think that you should. Also, worth noting, Epic Game Store, not very much porno. Guess that's your porno game.
Yeah,
Epic
you know
Game
what?
Store.
You know how you get profitable? I'm no expert, but porno. Yeah, porn.
Look at the front. I bet you if I go to Steam right now, how much you want to bet that there's at least 2 porno games on the front page?
I bet you over under at least 2 porn.
Okay. That's not porn. That's not porn. That's not porn. Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
This one's like kind of Monster Prom-ish, but it's a little it's
big
sexy,
booby girls,
but it's not like
what the fuck
porno.
It's like a crab person.
Yep. There's a lot of weird shit going on in this game. This is so Monster Prom I can
that's very Monster Prom, but that was a giant cod piece on that guy.
It's called Doomsday Paradise.
Yeah. Looks fun.
Yep.
Catch it on the dojo. Oh.
Let's see. Let's go to trailers.
Yay.
Some Sega executive says he wants Sonic to be more popular than Mario.
Good luck with that, yeah.
Good luck with that.
Maybe 20 years ago.
We got a new Alone in the Dark gameplay video. So this is that one that's David Harbour.
Any opportunity to watch David Harbour's a fine opportunity for me.
And what's her face? The lady from Killing Zoe that's in a bunch of other stuff.
I always forget her
her name.
She's not David Harbour.
Not David Harbour. David Harbour and not David Harbour.
Yeah.
I thought this was really interesting. This is 7 minutes long, so we can't like watch all the way through it. But what I thought was really interesting about it was that I kept seeing it flip-flop. Like the last time I saw this, I think it wasn't very impressive looking.
Yeah.
And I feel like their shadows are a lot better than they were before.
The last thing we saw from them, wasn't it just like a monologue in a dark room? Like it wasn't even...
There was a little walking around footage.
Okay.
I mean, you might not have been on for that, but like this scene looks better where you're on like this dark street. But then like sometimes like some of this stuff looks really nice and atmospheric, using the light, being alone, being in the dark.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they get into areas and it's like kind of very flat lighting. Like there's no dynamism to the lighting. The character models look, I think, better when there's a little bit more shadow around. see if we can find one of the places where, and they show a little bit of action, which looks like a kind of bog standard 3D action stuff.
Yeah, looks fine.
And some man
That
stores.
monster has little tiny thin legs.
He skipped leg day. He skipped up leg days.
He got the knobby knees.
So like this scene is very flat with her talking with this lady.
Yeah.
It's just like blap. Even though there's like a fireplace and a lamp, and it's feel like you just turn some of these light sources down a little bit. Get some shadows.
They are very bright.
Yep, they're very just like
It's got
well
that
lit.
overhead light thing going, you know.
So, but like here, you got these god rays coming in, and it looks a little better.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it is weird. Like I don't know.
I feel like if it all looks like the more dramatic parts look when it comes out, it will be better.
I mean, it's Alone in the Dark, so I'm guessing that you're gonna probably be in the dark more often than you're in the light. I think the light is more just. I don't know, part of the trailer.
That looks good because it's kind of interesting dynamic light source. I don't know. I guess it's just like we're in an era now where you got to pay a lot of attention to light. Where is it? Where is it coming from? Yeah. How dramatic is it? Like it makes
Isn't that like Art 101?
Yes. Yes. As somebody who went to art school, yes, I can tell you it is.
Like shadows and depth.
You draw the cube and then you shade it.
Yeah.
Like that's so you can know how light falls on a cube.
Yeah.
I compare this because you can to what I've seen so far of like Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, this is like, I mean, we just slapped something together and Alan Wake 2 is like, I agonized for a week over whether to put a red light or a green light in that room.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
Let's see. Dead by Daylight is getting a new killer. And it is the Chuckster from Child's Play, which seems really interesting because he is
tiny.
He's a little guy.
Yeah, he's a little plastic boy. It's actually 3 Chuckies in a trench coat.
Apparently, well, because one of the things with the killers in Dead by Daylight is they have to be able to pick people up
and put
them
on the hooks.
Put them on the hooks, right?
How do you put on? Was he on a claw machine?
From the description, it sounds like the spirit of the murder of the guy inside of Chucky.
Brad
will,
Dourif does
show
it.
Up. Well, Brad Dourif is doing the voice.
Yeah. Brad Dourif has never not done the voice of Chucky. Except maybe in that weird remake with Aubrey Plaza, but
also,
Jesus Christ!
I don't know if this is a separate skin or a separate killer, but the bride of Chucky is also in here and is also voiced by Jennifer Tilly. So apparently, there's like the Chucky TV show, and it's got 2 seasons. Like there's 2 full seasons.
My brother loves that show.
Really?
I am not a Chucky fan, so I don't care.
Oh,
but
okay.
But yeah, my brother is like heavy into it.
The whole trailer is like a fake commercial for the good guy where they're saying like, and if you
I'm your friend to the end.
They're like, yes, and if you lose him, he'll definitely always find you. That kind of stuff.
That's funny.
Speaking of putting stuff in stuff, Lightning McQueen is coming to Rocket League. Seems like kind of late.
Yeah,
but
it's like for both things. I mean, I don't know. Are people still playing Rocket League?
Yes, very much so.
I am not attached to any of this.
If it's an esport, people are playing it.
That's fair.
This is not obviously how the game looks. That's how the game looks. So,
yeah.
But it is interesting because he will be the first card that is animated, like his eyes move and his mouth moves. So, yeah, if you're into Rocket League, you can go get Lightning McQueen.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. This is more for Matt. Gigabash.
I'm not Matt.
I know, but Matt isn't here. Gigabash is getting that their Ultraman.
No.
So, and not just Ultraman, but because it's a pack of 4 characters, it's getting Ultraman. It's getting Balzac or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And then like the Ultra Mantigar or whatever, the big Ultraman.
Yeah.
Like the big Ultraman.
See, if I were Matt, I'd be able to tell you about this. I've seen Ultraman.
Trust me, I can. All I can do to stop Matt from telling me about this.
I don't have to show him a video to get him to tell me all about Ultraman.
And then lastly, there's some kind of like dominatrix lady, Gamera or something. She got like laser whips. And bats and stuff.
And skin tight suit.
I don't know jack shit about Ultraman, but you know.
I watched a like mini history thing about Ultraman before we watched Shin Ultraman.
Yeah.
and it's gone. It was in my head for all of 5 minutes, for the entirety of me watching the Shin Ultraman, and then as soon as we got out, I was like, I don't remember any of it.
I watched Shin Ultraman, and that movie was so inscrutable and silly that I was like, I don't care.
It was like watching a couple of episodes of Ultraman. There was no Shin to it.
Yeah, I don't know. They kept glossing over things like, oh, the Japanese government is making a deal with this alien, and then like, oh, looks like he betrayed us. All right, let's move on to the next thing.
Right,
and it was like, wait, what the fuck? Go
That's
back.
right. It felt like this was just one episode of the TV show. We're on to the next episode.
Yeah. They also had a trailer that came out for the Tokusatsu DLC because they also had the Godzilla DLC.
Yeah.
So you can now get Ultraman, you can get Godzilla, and I think Ghidorah and a few other folks.
Gigan?
Gigan. That's Gigan, yeah. So, yeah, Gigabash is pretty cool. Matt keeps trying to get me to play some more of it. We might at a certain point.
Yeah, on his birthday or something.
Yeah. Give it to him for Christmas or something.
Destroyer.
And Mecha Godzilla. So it was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun game.
Yeah.
I'm more interested though in custom mech wars.
Yeah.
This was a thing that came out last week. I'm getting very strong Earth Defense Force vibes off of this game.
Ooh.
It's some kind of mech game.
Yeah.
Where you get to build your own mech. Made out of like knockoff parts from a variety of different like mecha stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like the first one is just a robot with like 1 billion fucking guns attached to it.
That is a wall of guns.
And then they've got like one that's like a robot where a bunch of beast robots come together.
Yeah. Like a Voltron.
And then they've got one that's just
a tank and legs.
A tank with sexy legs called Bare-Legged Tank.
Yep, that's right. That's correct. This is what happens if you let me create robots.
Yeah. And then like a Triceratops robot. And then like this one just has a big arm with a hammer on the top, and like and then they just go on, and it's just like you can make whatever you want, and I'm like, great. One of them is just a train with the face on the front of it, and then they keep
They're
going.
like, you can make whatever you fucking feel like, and it's like, yes, if there's anything video game players do is they make logical choices.
This one. Drill dick bot, where it's just a bot with a big drill dick.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing. They know what's going on.
Oh my god!
I think this looks amazing. I want to totally.
That looks so stupid. Can you imagine all the weird monstrosities? What was a hamburger?
That one's a hamburger. Okay. Yes, hamburger robot. Wait, that one's got like three.
The ultimate insult to get shot down by a quarter pounder with cheese.
By a hamburger robot. That one's got giant knockers.
Yeah, it's titty bot.
The lady with the big boobies, big boobages. Yeah. So you can also play online.
Jesus Christ! I don't want to show people what I made.
What? But who's going to win in a fight between Titty Bot and Hamburger?
You know for a fact it's just going to be a dick shooting another dick.
Yep.
That's it.
It's going to be the Dick Wars. The Dick Wars have begun.
The Great Dick War.
The Great Dick War of 2023. This is coming out December 14th.
Oh, fuck.
We're going to see this before the end of the year.
Jesus Christ.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Less excited about Phantom Galaxies. We got this as like a 7-minute short for Phantom Galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I really wish that this was going to be a good game, but it's not.
Why do you say it's not?
Because the Steam version is the version that it doesn't have NFTs in it, but the version from their website is filled with NFTs. It's like an open world, like flying through space with your robot that transforms into like a jet. Then you get to shoot at dudes, and like,
and then it looks like a bored monkey, and then you pay more money, and then
obviously in the NFT version, each individual mech is going to be like its own NFT because you can just look at these and be like, they're so covered in shit that you could iterate a whole bunch of different ones and then make them into NFTs.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I would totally play. I might even end up playing this version because the Steam version doesn't have NFTs and isn't on the blockchain. But yeah, they put out a 7-minute long video. I kind of wish that I could let you hear what it sounds like because all of the
if it doesn't sound like an 80s hair metal band, then I don't want to hear it because it looks like it should.
Everyone sounds bad and wrong.
Oh.
And it's obviously written either like there was something where it was like one of the characters said something. It was like a common phrase that we would use. Like Like, I've been waiting to do that all day.
Yeah.
Right. But what they said was like, for all day, I've been waiting to do that. And I was like, what happened to you? Is this Chat GPT? Are you writing your dialogue with Chat GPT?
Like Christopher Walken delivery.
Yeah. It was very weird. Also, all the voice actors were bad. And the whole thing is kind of ugly. So,
which is disappointing.
But I put it on the list before I watched it. So there you go.
That's on you. I can't be blamed for that.
We got an equalizing test teaser trailer for Zenless Zone Zero.
That was a lot of words. I didn't understand a single one of them.
So Zenless Zone Zero is the next game by HoYoverse, who are the people that make Genshin Impact.
Mm-hmm.
It is a third-person action game that takes place in a kind of a science fiction arena with a bunch of very well-designed mascot characters that I'm sure everyone will have their favorite one of.
I like the sexy girl.
That's all of them. That's like 90% of them are sexy girls.
Yes.
So
one of them was a furry.
Yep.
I don't like the furry.
Just a wolf. Just a wolf in a waistcoat. Yep. Lots of Lolitas and ladies and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's like a shark tail.
Oh.
I don't know what the deal is with it, but yeah, I think this looks kind of cool personally. Like,
yeah, it looks great.
HoYoverse has done a really good job of like their art design is just top notch. Like it was pretty good when Genshin Impact started. I think it's even better now between this and the train one that Michael and I played.
Yeah, this is real clean.
I think the whole game industry has gotten a lot better in the last 5 years at making anime looking shit look like anime.
Yeah.
And not like wrong.
What the hell are these little minion guys?
I don't know.
They're little robots with like bunny ears.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
I mean, they're cute, but like I thought the game was that, and it looked like it was going to be like Gang Beast or something.
Yeah. Nope. It's you fighting these giant,
sexy ladies,
giant robots with sexy ladies. Still no release date. It's supposed to come out sometime in December, or at least it's supposed to go into test at some point in December. So, also this trailer goes on for like 3 full minutes.
Oh my God!
It's very flashy. And it keeps going.
Pretty, though.
We got a Persona 3 character spotlight for Fuka Yamagishi, who's like your tech person. I think this remake is looking very good. So this is other JRPG news.
Yeah.
But
I know nothing of Persona. I feel no ways of Persona.
This is the character that kind of lets you do like big effects and stuff. But I mean, you may not know Persona, but once we get into the battle stuff, it's pretty impressive to look at. It's kind of cool. And
yeah, I mean, it looks nice. It's just I don't. Ooh, a spotlight on this character.
Yeah, no, I get it.
She has blue hair and wears headphones. I'd never seen that before.
I get it. Let's see. We got a launch trailer for The Invincible. I believe that the day this goes up will be the day that our Invincible video goes up. I gave Tessa a choice of what they wanted to play, and they said this one. So this is based on a Stanislaw Lem novel. He's the guy that wrote Solaris. And it's about it's kind of got this retro futurist, semi-Soviet kind of brutalist vibe to it.
Yeah, it looks cool. What did y'all think of it?
It was very kind of like Walking Simulator Plus, where you're walking around, but then you had some inputs for climbing. You had a few kind of like little devices, little weird looking retro futurism devices.
Yeah.
I think I postulated in the video that it was some kind of time loop, but I think I was wrong about that. But it's just very kind of like an adventure, right?
I like the way everything looks, though. Yeah,
I think that's like the best thing about it is that it's got a very cool style. One of the things that we noted while playing is that I think you might have seen it kind of earlier on in the trailer is that they have some really absolutely fantastic skyboxes.
Yeah.
So it really makes you feel like you're in this kind of alien place.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Seems pretty cool. Let's see. From there, we got a launch trailer for a game called The Forest Cathedral. I wanted to put this out there because I think this is a really weird game. I don't think we're actually going to play it, but it's kind of a combination of like first-person kind of adventure. There's some kind of visual novel stuff. there's all of these kind of surveying like wildlife things, and then in between there's this kind of like,
are there mini games going on?
Yeah, it's persistent. It's not mini games. It's one game. It's this side-scrolling kind of platformer.
Yeah.
That you end up doing in order to. There's like a get things done, and there's a kind of strange thing with these pixelated people talking in the background.
Yeah.
The thing that's really strange about this, I didn't realize this until I went and researched it because I was about to axe this, but this is based on. This is a dramatization of the book Silent Spring. Do you know Silent Spring?
No.
It was a book that was written by here. Let me make sure I get the attribution right. It was a book that was written, I believe, in the 70s by Rachel Carson, and it was about DDT and how it was killing the birds in places, and it was this it's kind of a seminal work for like environmentalism, where it was somebody going out and being like you're destroying an ecosystem, and then here's why. It was referenced. I've never read it. It was referenced a lot for me in. Strangely, the Three Body Problem has a character that's obsessed with Silent Spring. That's like it was a member of the Chinese Communist Party and was in like labor camps that were just deforesting large chunks of the land, and then this book was considered like taboo. You couldn't have it because it was considered Western influence. I don't know how much of that is true, but it's very strange because this came out in 1962.
Wow.
And then this is like nope, that's Dan Olson talking about NFTs. I don't know why that's
why is
in
that
there.
playing?
I don't know why that's playing. Anyway, this game is like a weird gamified dramatization of that. And I'm like,
what an interesting thing to make a game off of.
Yeah, like, but why? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
That's so strange.
We've had so many games that had no rhyme or reason, so maybe they just like the book.
Yeah. I mean, apparently it's a very influential book. Like, a lot of people cite it as being like a big thing. So I had a perfect segue, because speaking of games that are based off of books. Damn it. We got another trailer for Last Train Home. This we first, I believe, heard about in at E3 of this year. Yeah, do you and I talk about this?
Yeah, I remember seeing this trailer. Well, maybe not this trailer, but I remember
all the live action stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this one is just talking about kind of resource management, like crew management, how like you can use fuel to like power the train, or you can use it to like heat the car where the sick people are, and like you can assign medics to do stuff, and et cetera, et cetera. The thing is, the only reason I want to bring this up was because I don't know if I was aware of this, but like this is November 28th, like before the month is out, this is coming out. So if you're a fan of Frostpunk or something like that, you might check out Last Train Home.
Nice.
Nickelodeon All-Star 2, All-Star Brawl 2 came out. So, yeah, we have the launch trailer for that.
Garfield's in it.
I think Garfield is in the last one. I think the big ads in this one were like Jimmy Neutron and the Danny Phantom. And then like there's like a luchador guy. And then there's like a story mode to it too. So
nice. The fuck was that? April O'Neil with some big ass breaking news.
Yes, that was like her ultimate, was a giant Channel 4 breaking news thing.
That's very funny. Shredder.
This whatever this is, something.
I think it's like
Amigo
El Tigre.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Yeah. So that is out. If you want to see it, you can always go to patreon.com/RageSelect, because Michael and I played it. It's got a whole single player roguelike mode that's kind of cool, where you unlock characters and different stuff.
That's cool.
And then it seems like a big improvement over the last game.
Yeah.
So.
Got to do the weirder Nickelodeon stuff though.
Yeah, like what?
I want to. All Real Monsters was Nickelodeon, right?
I think they had All Real Monsters in the first one.
You can't just put them in this one too. Why separate them out between?
Almost certainly licensing, or so they can sell them back to you later as a classic pack for $10 or something. So,
hate it.
Like they had Leonardo and Michelangelo in the first game, and it's Raphael and Donatello in this one, and it's just like, did you have all the Ninja Turtles in one game?
I just want to play a Splinter.
Yep. Well, maybe instead of Nickelodeon, you're a big fan of DreamWorks. You could play DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing.
No.
No? It's got Shrek.
Didn't we play like the Mickey Mouse, like Disney kart racing?
Yes.
Is this not just that, but DreamWorks?
Yes.
Why are you guys doing this?
Because it's
Why
DreamWorks.
Is this happening?
It's DreamWorks. It's got all your favorite.
First of all, donkey riding a dragon car feels inappropriate.
Yep. It's got Shrek. It's got Madagascar.
It's got Po from
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
It's got Boss Baby. It's got the Trolls. It's got How to Train Your Dragon. All your favorite DreamWorkses, Amanda. All of them. Look at all of them. Look at that Boss Baby.
Can I just say that for some reason, I've never seen Boss Baby, but the people at my work reference Boss Baby so often.
Really?
Yeah, all the time. Well, okay, consider that I work in a field in which there are the discussion of babies is happening regularly. And so 9 times out of 10, we will ask if somebody says something about a baby, we'll go, a boss baby? It's like nonstop. I hate that Boss Baby.
You just do what I did on that Alan Wake thing and make it into game theory. Like
it's just a baby.
A boss baby. And then they'll be like, what is that? And you'll be like, don't worry about it. You're too young. You don't understand.
Thanks for watching. And then I just leave.
See you next time. Vampire Survivors is getting an update with single player content for some reason. These are standalone remixed adventures that don't mess with your progression in the main game, but tell little stories of the individual characters.
I don't want stories. I just want to shoot the weird things that come at me.
Well, you can still do that. Or you can do the stories.
Did it say deep lore?
Yes.
Speaking of Matt Pat, are they trying to...
Oh, no. They're making fun of themselves because... Well, sort of. I don't know. So Vampire Survivors launched with like nothing, and then they got James Stephanie Sterling to like write descriptions for everything in the game, which is how the weird cum monsters became milk demons.
Yeah. They were like, how am I going to write our way out of this?
And then they had some story that was kind of attached to like some of the DLCs. And then they announced a TV show, which has to be about story. And now you got this.
Does it though? What if it's just a television show that's nonsensical?
Then it would be still better than the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Wow. I loved that movie.
You didn't watch that movie. You didn't watch that movie. Don't you fucking tell me. I know if you watch that, you would be messaging me like, holy shit, this is bad. You're over here telling me, I don't think there's a person on this planet that is like, you know what my 2 favorite horror movies from 2023 were? Skinamarink and fucking Five Nights at Freddy's.
Is that not...
That Venn diagram is 2 circles that are next to each other.
You should be happy because I also watched, it's another analog horror movie called We're All Going to the World's Fair.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, and it's just another analog horror bullshit. And I was like, I'm not going to talk about it because it's just more of the same.
Have you not watched When Evil Lurks yet?
No.
Oh, why not?
Because I haven't watched any of that movie. When we're all going to the World's Fair, I watched like right before Halloween, and it's 2 weeks removed from Halloween.
Yeah, and you can still watch horror movies in November.
No, I just mean I haven't watched anything. Like I just haven't had time. It's been crazy.
You got to do it. You got to do it. I need somebody to talk to about it. Like. No
I want to watch it.
You want to watch it? I think you
I want to. Double feature that and Five Nights.
That's what I did. I watched one the night before and one the night after.
That's amazing.
And I was like, why am I doing this? This is fucking awful. Like, oh, Jesus.
Wait, what order did you do it in?
I watched When Evil Lurks on my Friday and Saturday night, it's like I have my beers and I have my stuff and I watch my shows. So I watched When Evil Lurks on Saturday night, having a good time.
Yeah.
Woo, wah, ha.
Yeah.
Right. And then on Sunday afternoon when I was hungover, I'm like, all right, Freddie, what you got? And I was like...
Okay. And I'm not saying it's good. I haven't watched it. It's not fair to judge a movie based on hangover viewing.
I wasn't hungover. Well, I was partially hungover. It wasn't a bad hangover. I gave that game a fair shake. I will say stuff out loud that will make you not watch that movie. Okay, don't you insinuate that for some reason that
don't you assume you could talk me out of watching a Matthew Lillard movie?
I can't. I will. Let's wrap it up. Revenant Hill, the kind of sequel to, not sequel, but sort of next project from the people that made Night in the Woods, is basically canceled. So this is the one that we saw the trailer for. It was a Sony event a little while back. Basically, like, the writer and main artist, Scott Benson, has reports that, like, over about the course of 12 months, he's gotten very sick and it just hasn't gone away. And so he's in the middle of getting like tests done and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And there's just no way for him to like be the lead on a project like this.
Yeah.
And because he's so integral to what they're doing, it's like having him leave, they can't just continue on without him.
That is such a bummer, especially for that reason. You know what I mean? You never want to hear that it's like illness or...
Yeah, it would be one thing if he was just like, I have writer's block and I don't think I can.
Or even like, you know what, I started doing it and I don't like it and I don't want to do it anymore and I'm moving on. Like, that's totally fine. But to be like, it's a thing I want to do, I really want to do, I can't do it because I'm too sick and cannot function. Yep. That shit sucks.
Eventually I was diagnosed with severe heart failure, most likely from a virus. It'll continue to limit me for the foreseeable future. And as such, I've had to stop working in the manner I once did. I can very much see like having some kind of heart condition and being like, no, your job is to take it easy, like for a while, because if you stress yourself out doing game development, you could fucking have a heart attack and just die. So anyway, put that one in cold storage, and maybe someday we'll see it come back. Who knows? He didn't want to do this either, so there you go. Risk of Rain 2 is getting an expansion, Seekers of the Storm. This is mostly just notification. I don't think either Amanda nor I has really any big skin in the Risk of Rain game. So there you go. I'll tell you what we do have. What game we do have skin in, though. Well, I don't know. You and I have never played a puppet combo game. We have not yet played a puppet combo game. I usually end up playing them with Jason. But like this year, I played the Booty Creek Cheek Freak with Jason. Yeah. And then they came out with Ding Dong Dead, and I played that with Tessa. Well, maybe, Amanda, it's time for you and I to play. Well, maybe
your favorite co-host should get a chance.
They are coming out with a game December 17th.
I do love Christmas.
Called Christmas Massacre, where you play as a psychotic Santa Claus who is taking orders from a talking Christmas tree and then just like fucking going around killing and maiming and slaughtering.
It looks like everybody's on the naughty list.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So Puppet Combo is putting this out. It's coming out December 17th. It's coming out on the PC. It's coming out on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
They announced that it is not coming to the Nintendo Switch or the Xbox. Apparently, Microsoft just refuses to give them any kind of classification because their games are just too disturbing.
That's fair.
Nintendo, like the Puppet Combo guy, was like, I don't know why I went to all the trouble to get a Switch port made and then submitted it to Nintendo, who just refused to put it on their thing because it was quote unquote too disturbing.
I mean,
it's pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
It's pretty disturbing. But by the same token,
like that straight up looked like John Wayne Gacy.
Nintendo has like hentai on their fucking store. So
that shit is weird.
I think that Christmas. This is the most obviously like this is not realistic at all. Like,
yeah, it's still violent though.
It is very violent, but you know, I don't know. Play Mortal Kombat 11 or Mortal Kombat 1. Have you seen what Omni-Man's fucking fatality is in that game? Like, holy shit. It's not more violent than that. If you could have Mortal Kombat 1 on your console, you should be able to have Christmas Massacre on your console.
That's fair.
One of the things I will say, though, that in the defense of the developers, there's a few places here where it appears that the Santa is going into a classroom with a flamethrower and setting everyone on fire.
Maybe don't do violence in schools.
Puppet Combo says all of these are 18 or older. Don't need to worry. Everybody's 18 or older in this game because you get a much higher rating if you kill kids, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't do that in most games. So I don't know. All I know is that I'm going to play it. I don't care about you guys can't stop me. I'm a patron of Puppet Combo. I'm going to get the build for fucking free.
I am a supporter.
And Puppet Combo deserves our support because nobody else is they're prolific and they're nuts, and I like them.
It's fine when one company does it. It's when everybody feels like they need to be all edgelordy.
Yep.
I remember the 90s.
Yes. Speaking of horrifying, you can now pre-order the Super Mario Piranha Plant, the Lego one.
I fucking want it.
Yeah.
I want it so bad.
This one is the most affordable one.
Yeah.
It's like $60.
Yeah. I only buy plant Legos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John buys me flower Legos like for my birthday or anniversary and stuff like that.
There you go.
So this falls into that category, and I want it real bad.
Well, better this than what if they just today they announced the Lego Avengers Tower. And if you saw that,
that shit
30
is
mega
wildly
minifigs.
Expensive.
Yeah,
I get it. Lego has its like fandom in and of itself.
Man factory over here, guys.
But it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's finish up with a few fun things. I thought this was really good. I know that you haven't played Disco Elysium.
Mm-mm.
I think you would probably like Disco Elysium, to be honest. But the first thing that happens at Disco Elysium is you wake up in a trashed hotel room, and there was I think it's a rock star artist just in his spare time who made the entire thing in Unreal Engine 5, like as a 3D area, and like he did very detailed, like down to the writing on stuff.
Ooh.
And like the names of different things. Like this is taken directly from stuff.
Yeah.
It's really cool. You can find this on a YouTube channel called John Joe Hemmons. And it's really interesting. I posted in the Discord. I'd be interested. Like, I was asking the Discord, like, do you think that it would be that the game would get more players if you remade it like in a 3D first person context or whatever? It's interesting for comparison. This is the 3D model.
Yeah.
And this is what the original game looked like. So there's a few things that are slightly off, but like for the most part, it's pretty much 1-to-1. So very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Very cool. And then last but not least, Devolver Digital did something that I absolutely loved.
Oh, they paid for me to get a tattoo.
They did. The Talos Principle 2 launched this week, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend that everybody go to Devolver's YouTube channel and watch GLaDOS Plays the Talos Principle 2.
God damn it.
Where GLaDOS is doing a Let's Play of the Talos Principle 2 and calling out how close it is to Portal and like shit-talking the game.
That's amazing.
About like, there's a part where it's like, oh, picking up a box. Where have I seen that before? It's pretty amazing. And I don't know. I think they got the lady that does the voice to redo the voice. So it's pretty awesome. It's only like what, 2 minutes? Yeah, it's 2 minutes long. So
she's just riffing on a different game.
On the different game.
That's amazing.
Love to see GLaDOS in more places. That's it.
That's all of it?
That's it.
I feel like we could go for another hour.
I can't. I'm exhausted.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I want Taco Bell.
We got 20 minutes over. I found the secret to Taco Bell. Hey, anybody listened all the way for 2 hours and 20 minutes?
Why'd you look behind you like the taco police were going to come get you?
I was checking for the taco police. They were going to come in here. So I'm going to tell you a story. We'll end with a brief Taco Bell story.
It's not a podcast. It's not some Taco Bell talk.
Okay. So for a long time, my Taco Bell order was go to Taco Bell and buy whatever the nacho fries box, the cheesy roll up box, the grilled burrito box, right?
Yeah.
You get the box. They used to be $5, right? You get the box.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, also give me like a like a spiced potato soft taco and a cheese bean rice burrito.
Yeah, off the dollar menu kind of thing. Yeah.
And I would come home. It would be like $7. I'd come home. I would eat it all. I would fucking hate myself.
Yeah.
I would go, "You're so stupid," in the mirror to myself, and then I would go to bed.
Yeah, like everyone's experience eating at Taco Bell. Yeah.
Yes. So then Taco Bell has decided, like a bunch of fucking jags, that $5 box is now $10.
Yeah.
Like it's $10. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
you're not
exact
getting
same
more.
things.
Yeah.
It's whatever this month's special is. One of those like double the burrito, and then they wrap the cheesy burrito around the burrito.
Quesarito.
Chips and salsa. Or chips and queso,
Yeah.
and then like a Doritos Locos taco,
Yeah.
and then that's $10 now instead of the $5 that it used to be, because I guess the price of potatoes doubled. Like that's my fucking fault.
Yeah.
So I got sick of paying $12 to eat at Taco Bell and then be violently ill for the entire next day.
Uh-huh.
So last time I went to Taco Bell, I was like, I've had enough of this. I'm going to just order off the dollar menu. I'm not going to pay more than $7. So I'm like, one spiced potato soft taco, one cheese bean rice burrito, one grilled, the grilled, what is it, chicken guac crunchy burrito.
Oh, yeah.
The $2 burritos.
Yeah.
So then,
it's
and
like
then the
a
other one,
chicken ranch something.
the beefy crunchy beefy crunch, because you get two $1 and two $2, and that's $6.
Yeah.
And then the first time I did that, and then I was like, also, you know what? I don't know if that's enough because I'm used to ordering way too much. Give me a cheesy roll up as well. And then I got home, and they left off one of my burritos. So they gave me a cheesy roll up, spiced potato soft burrito, chicken ranch.
Yeah.
And I ate all that. And I was like, fuck it, I'm done. And I went to bed. And the next day I woke up and I was like, hey, I'm fine. Wait, what? I don't have to go to the bathroom like 6 times. Like I went to the bathroom once and it was just like a regular. It was fine.
It was like fire blowing out of me.
Right.
No, just totally normal.
I was just sitting here in my own filth for hours and hours at a time. So I started going back and I started ordering just two $1 menu and then the two $2 burritos, and then come home with basically 3 burritos and a soft taco.
Yeah.
And eat those. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like I can still move around. Like I don't feel like I'm going to die. I don't even have to look at myself in the mirror and say, "You're so stupid. Why do you do this? You're so stupid."
I mean, you can still.
I mean, I do it for other reasons, but not for that reason.
But now I don't go because you ate that Taco Bell.
Yep.
You got other reasons.
Yeah. To the point where I'm like, I think I could eat Taco Bell more than once a week.
Holy shit.
And $6 as opposed to $12. And the result
and then
is
half
better.
of the items aren't even items you want. And yeah.
So that's my Taco Bell story. Order off the dollar menu. And just don't go to Wendy's. Fuck Wendy's.
Fuck Wendy's.
Fuck Wendy's. I mean, you go to McDonald's and for $8 you can get the 20-piece nugget and a basket of fries. And that's just illegal. That should be against the law.
Yeah,
for you to walk
I
away
don't know,
with
man.
20 nugs.
I haven't had McDonald's in 20 years.
It's $8 for 20 nugs and a basket of fries. Not even like a large fries. It's like too many fries for even the things that they put the fries in.
They're like, it's got to be
like
a bucket of fries.
Yeah. Anyway, that's our show. Hope you all have learned something. Get an extra 5 minutes worth of Taco Bell. Hey, if you made it all the way to the end, it means you're a RageSelect superfan. 2 things. 1,
why?
maybe go to patreon.com/RageSelect. We took a really big hit last week in the Patreon.
Oh.
Like if we take that amount of hit again, there's going to be some problems. And 2, if you're already a patron of RageSelect, hey, do me a favor and go check and make sure that your subscription is active. I had somebody that mailed me and they were like, hey, I haven't been getting the bonus video. And I was like, well, your credit card got declined in July and hasn't been active since. And they were like, oh, let me fix that. And I'm really worried because Patreon has gotten really bad about like hiding shit that they're just not telling people.
Yeah.
And so there's a bunch of people who are just like, I guess Jeff just shut down RageSelect. So,
yikes.
Which I guess if they thought that, I don't know why they'd be listening to this podcast. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm tired.
Just double check that you're still getting the bonus videos if you're a patron, and double check your Patreon and make sure that you're still subbed to us to help us out.
Yep. And go spend $6 at Taco Bell. Or don't. I don't know.
But do.
I'm going to go spend $6 at Taco Bell.
Do it. Live.
I'm going right now. Everybody out. I'm going to Taco Bell.